Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the race watch-along for the 2024 Qatar Grand Prix. How are we all doing this afternoon, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are in the world? Hope you've had a good Sunday and you've had a good weekend thus far. We've got some racing still to come, and it is stream number 4 of 5 of the weekend. Race reaction, of course, in a few hours' time with Stuart, so hopefully plenty to talk about. A little bit more optimistic today than I was yesterday about the race, because the F2 did seem a little bit more entertaining today, but I don't know if that's offset of tyres and things like that may have caused that, but much better race than we saw yesterday. Quite pessimistic, or not sceptical about this track anyway with DRS trains and things, but hopefully a bit better than the sprint was anyway. Grand Prix tend to be, don't they? And yes, there are Christmas things everywhere because it's the 1st of December, so I'm allowed to be festive and cheesy now as opposed to the rest of the year when I'm just cheesy. So there you go. As somebody's already pointed out, maybe trying to help George Russell win with the cold weather there, but there we go. Yes, it is the 1st of December. It's my favourite time of year. I'm going to be festive and cheesy, and yes, they will stay for the rest of the year. So an Abu Dhabi Christmas, as Tim put it. Good to see you, Tim, in chat. Hey to Salt, hey to Fud, hey to Tim again, hey to Pascal, to Alfie, to Deitmer, to James, to Crazy Ninja, to Biggers, and Fud again. There you go. Why not? Thank you for tuning in. We'll do all the YouTuber spiel later, but I'm looking forward to this one. We have got a grid as well, by the way, which we'll go through in just a moment, because there have been some changes, or a change, a significant change, but not really a significant change versus yesterday. But yes, got a poll as well. Get your votes in on that one. Who do you think will win the Qatar Grand Prix? I can only put 4 options up, so I've gone with the top 3 on the grid. So Russell, Verstappen and Norris, or someone else. So far, 42% of you, 43% of you think that Verstappen will win. So there we go. That lap yesterday was a surprise, wasn't it, in qualifying, and the pace might be there. They may have turned things around, so Hopefully a good day for Red Bull. I just want a good race. I'm not really bothered about the results anymore. McLaren are probably going to win the Constructors. If not today, certainly next week. The drivers is done. We can all kind of just enjoy the last couple of races now, and hopefully lots of action, maybe a bit of drama. Why not? Not quite Brazil levels. That was chaos. But yeah, looking forward to the rest of this weekend. So let's have a quick look at the grid then. It is scroll, or I'll read you through it. It's scroll at the bottom of the screen now. When I left you yesterday, Max Verstappen was on provisional pole position. As it is now, George Russell is on pole position. Max Verstappen has been relegated to P2. I'll get into that in just a second, with Lando Norris starting third and Oscar Piastri in fourth place. Suspect McLaren's race pace may be better than it was in their qualifying pace was yesterday. Charles Leclerc fifth. Needs a win today, as does Carlos Sainz. He needs to be up there with his teammate to keep themselves in the hunt for the Constructors' title. Lewis Hamilton, sixth place. Sainz is in seventh, with Alonso in eighth and Sergio Perez ninth. Kevin Magnussen rounds out the top 10. A shot at points again for Haas today, with 11th for Pierre Gasly, 12th for Zhou Guanyu, 13th for Valtteri Bottas. It is Yuki Tsunoda 14th, Lance Stroll 15th, Albon in 16th, Lawson is 17th, Hülkenberg 18th. It's 19th for Franco Colapinto and 20th for Esteban Ocon. But why is Max Verstappen down to second place on the grid? Well, we speculated yesterday, didn't we, about maximum delta times and going too slowly and impeding. As it turns out, as we kind of again discussed yesterday, George Russell was not on a hot lap. Max Verstappen was on a preparation lap. George Russell was on another preparation lap, but a different preparation to Verstappen, and it all just got a little bit messy at the corner. The stewards decided, though, that Verstappen was in breach of Article 33.4 of the FIA F1 sporting regulations for driving unnecessarily slowly on a cool-down lap. They said, I'll read it to you, Verstappen was on a different preparation strategy to that of Russell. Verstappen was well outside of the delta, and the driver of car one, that is Verstappen, explained he had let Norris and Alonso past. The driver of car 63, that's Russell, claimed that he had adhered, I can't say that word, to the delta and did not expect Verstappen to be on the racing line. He stated that if a car was going slow in a high-speed corner, it should not be on the racing line. I think we know that one anyway. Stewards regard this case as a complicated one, in that clearly Verstappen did not comply with the race director's event notes and clearly was driving in our determination unnecessarily slowly. It was obvious, though, that the driver of car one was attempting to cool his tyres. He also could see Russell approaching as he looked in the mirrors multiple times whilst on the small straight between turns 11 and 12. It's a lot. Unusually, the incident occurred when neither driver was on a push lap. Had Russell been on a push lap, the penalty would have most likely been the usual 3 grid position penalty. However, in mitigation of penalty, it was obvious the driver of car 63, again, that's Russell, had clear visibility of Verstappen and that neither car was on a push lap. So they decided that, again, keep it simple. Neither on a push lap. Didn't really hamper either driver, but they needed to do something because he was driving necessary slowly, so they've gone with a one-place grid penalty. Of course, as I'm sure you can imagine, that set everyone off on Twitter.com. It's all a big conspiracy. It's all terrible. They're making things up. To clarify for anybody who believes that, they're not making anything up. Article 12.4.1F of the International Sporting Code says, under the list of scale of penalties, starting at penalties may be inflicted as follows: warning, reprimand, blah, blah, blah. It says 12.4.1F, drop of grid position or positions. So they can just drop a driver one place if they need to. I think it's an interesting one. It is complicated because neither driver was on a push lap, so it's a bit different to impeding, but he was driving on the racing line very slowly. Then again, Russell could quite clearly see him. It's not like there was a tree in the way or anything. So, it's, I don't know. A one-place grid drop, yeah, fine. It is what it is. Really, the worst thing for Verstappen is not so much losing pole, but also it's moving on to the dirty side of the grid, which could hamper him in the Grand Prix. So it could end up being a worse penalty than that. So no conspiracies, nothing like that. It's just the FIA have used their rules. We've got a new race director as well, of course, so he may have looked at it differently. There's no Johnny Herbert before anyone starts. He's not here this weekend. So no, it's an odd one. I think Nico Hülkenberg in about 2016, somewhere like that, was the last time any driver got a one-place grid drop, so it's not completely unheard of, but it is rare. It is usually 3, like they say there, but of course, obviously, not impeding Russell, no point dropping him 3 places, so they've gone with 1, which puts him down to second place, which, again, 2016 Germany, thank you, Max. It's not really going to destroy his afternoon, unless, of course, that dirty side of the track is so dirty that he drops a few more places, so there we go. There we go. Max says, just seen Chelsea win. A great Grand Prix to boot will be fantastic. Boo. Crazy Ninja said they admitted George could see Max has still penalised him. Yeah, but Max is still driving slowly on the racing line. That's usually a big no, isn't it, in Formula One? If you're driving slowly on the racing line, you've got a car behind you, whatever's happening, if they're quicker than you, you just make sure you're out of the way. But I think that's what, to be honest, I think that's probably a lot of what the one place grid drop is. You know, George could see him, so could avoid him, and neither on a push lap, but Max shouldn't have been driving slowly on the racing line. So a one place grid drop probably is about as harsh as they needed to go. The one penalty point on his license is a bit of an odd one, because then that kind of makes out that was dangerous driving, but they've not put dangerous driving anywhere in there, so I'm not sure, but there you go. Why are you defending that disgusting decision? Because I know the rules and I'm not an idiot, Patrick. I'm not going to start throwing around conspiracies and saying that the FIA have made up a rule or something, because they haven't. It's in the regulations. I've just read the regulation to you. It's as simple as that. If you want someone who's going to give you a load of conspiracies and start slagging off the FIA or whatever for reasons that aren't justified, then go for it. It's not a disgusting decision at all. It's a fair decision. He was driving too slowly, unnecessarily slowly on the racing line. George Russell could see him, so they've obviously looked at it and gone, I wouldn't go as far as say 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but, you know, they've probably just looked at it and gone, you know, we can't give him a 3-place drop because he's not really done anything wrong, but he is driving too slowly on the racing line, so we've got to give him something. So there you go. So I don't think it's a big deal. And then Patrick says, 18 drivers didn't meet their delta yesterday. Please explain. No penalty for that. Well, they weren't dawdling on the racing line, Patrick. That'll be why. So it's as simple as that. I'm not going to get into an argument with people over, you know, what the rules say and the fact that we've got a new race director who and his stewards have actually applied the rules within the remit that they're allowed. Again, I'm quite happy. For anyone who's not sure, I can read it again. I'm quite happy to do that. Fourth stream of the weekend, I will get narky. Scale of penalties in Article 12.4 of the International Sporting Code. A warning is A. Reprimand is B, which is to blame. C is a fine. Obligation to accomplish some work in interest. That's like that community service you got for saying the F word. Oh no, how terrible. Deletion of lap times or race times is 12.4.1e. 12.4.1f is drop of grid position or positions, so that's plural, or just one. So they could have given him 3. And sometimes when I see people kicking off over nothing, I think we'll give him 10 next time. But there you go. Yeah, I'm dancing around it. Okay, Patrick, yeah. Course, whatever. I'm a Verstappen fan, by the way, but yeah, I'm not going to put up with it if you're going to start. I'm in one of those moods today. I'm too festive to care. It's just I just get very fed up. It's not a personal attack on Patrick, by the way. I just get very fed up with the everything's a conspiracy because it went against me or my driver. It's just like, oh, whatever, sure. You can't argue Alonso caused him to drive slowly. Alonso started his lap after Max and overtook him since Max was driving so slowly. Says Fudd. That's a different conversation, I think. Big says people making a big deal out of it because Verstappen lost pole. Yeah, but he's gone to second. He's not gone to 20th, has he? So, you know. And the 18 drivers that didn't meet the delta time were all noted and investigated, and obviously they weren't dawdling on the racing line, and obviously there were mitigating circumstances. We've seen it so many times this season. Every session, at the end of the session, the race director's feed, which I have open, just goes, driver this, that and the other have not stuck to the maximum delta time, will be investigated after the session, and then it's usually because they've had to stop on track to let somebody through. So there you go. I agree. George Russell could see him, so could avoid him. So, you know, there is an argument for not having a penalty. But at the end of the day, if you're dawdling on the racing line and there's a car coming up behind you, you're probably going to face some kind of action. It is unusual, a one-place grid drop, and it is unusual for a penalty to be given when neither driver's on a push lap. But they say that they're not hiding anything. It's in the thing. It says it right there. Unusually, the incident occurred when neither driver was on a push lap. So they are acknowledging that. There's no conspiracy. There's no big payoff. There's nothing like that. It's just not worth it. It's so silly, but it's funny at the same time and ridiculous. Anyway, I didn't want to start the stream with a moan, but there you go. People are just weird. And look, I get it. Michael Schumacher, I was a huge Schumacher fanboy. If something went against him, it was all a big conspiracy. It was terrible. I hated Formula One. They just hated him because he was German. They just hated him because he was successful. I get it, but it's such a nothing burger, this one at all. I love the phrase nothing burger. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the race going ahead then? So George is going to start from pole. Max is on the front row with him. That's going to be a fun fight into turn one. Neither drive with anything to lose, really. So we could see some elbows out into turn one. That's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to that. Norris and Piastri on the second row. Maybe Norris will let him go on the line again. That caused quite a hoo-ha yesterday, didn't it? Which was quite funny. No, I was quite skeptical yesterday. We watched the sprint together, didn't we? And it was a little bit, processional. DRS trains, a bit dull, not really a thriller. But then sprints don't tend to be. Sometimes they're pretty good, but not always. And then we got the race today, and we got the race today in F2, and it was actually pretty decent compared to yesterday. So I know the F2 cars are easier to follow and they tend to be a bit more chaotic anyway, but I am hoping that we're going to get a cracker today. So I'm more optimistic, but still, I'm not sure this track is it's weird. It's great to see the cars around here because it is just so fast. And it is just one of the, it's quite a super fast circuit, but the corners through these, what's the, he's been using it all weekend. Alex Brundle. The long corners, he calls them something else. I can't even think what it is. It's gone out of my head. I had it a minute ago. But he's always going on about that. And it's great to see the cars through there. But in terms of racing, I'm not sure it's for F1. But we're going to have to suck it up whatever happens because it's here forever. As long as Qatar are willing to pay for it. And I'd imagine they're willing to pay for it for a very long time. So we're here forever. So yay. It's great for MotoGP, by the way, this track. If you've not watched MotoGP around Lusail, it's well worth a watch. But Formula 1, bit tougher. Maybe the smaller cars in 26 might help a little bit. But I hope it's a good one. Just enough entertainment that I don't fall asleep midstream. That'd be good. James says, thoughts on Hamilton's interviews over the weekend? Sad to see him so fed up with it all. Yeah, it is, James. It's, I think, a phrase that Ted's used quite a lot, which I think is a right phrase, actually. It's self-motivational in the sense that, he puts himself down and then maybe that G's him up a little bit. But it's sad to see him... It's sad to see his time at Mercedes going out in a bit of a, or just fizzling, not a whimper, but fizzling out a little bit, and not going to be that, when you look back to the summer when Mercedes found all that pace and Hamilton won, he won in, where did he win? He won at Silverstone, did he? Then, of course, won at Spa after George Russell was disqualified. You thought, maybe things are going to come good for Mercedes, and we're going to have a really exciting end to the season for them, and maybe he'll go out with a bang in Abu Dhabi at the end of the year, and it's just not really happening, is it? So I was kind of hoping he might get a big proper send off like that, but it's not. It's a shame to hear it. And I hope that, because he said, was it him that said yesterday, he just wants to get these two races out of the way? That's not what you want to hear, is it? You want to hear him like, let's go and get something, let's try and get some podiums or whatever. I know it's tough, but his teammate's performing. So part of it, I think yesterday he was asked about, what do you do to fix this? And he said, we can't fix it. So this is kind of where he is for the last two races of the season. So I get why he's frustrated, and it is a shame. You don't have to be a mega Lewis Hamilton fan to sort of look at that and say that is it's just sad that, like you say, James, that he's not sort of more on form. I was hoping for a big exit from Mercedes, but it's not going to happen. So there's been a few like that over the years, but I hope that the move to Ferrari really reinvents him or revitalizes him. I think a change of atmosphere, change of place. It's tough at Ferrari, whoever you are. So a lot of pressure there. But I think new place. There'll be pressure on him next year. But first season in a new team, you get a little bit of slack, don't you? Regardless of your age or your experience or your title success of the past, you're always going to get a bit of slack. So I hope it picks it and G's up a bit. I was a little bit disappointed to hear after a few weeks ago when he said that he might not come back for the final few races. I thought, don't be like that. That'd be awful, an awful way to go out. So I hope he has a good race this weekend or today, and of course next week in Abu Dhabi. But there you go. I'm a Max fan, but I do feel for him. Awful to see someone down, says Valentine. Yeah. Simon Lasers just said on Sky they'll investigate Oscar's pit entry after the race, says Fudd. So there was which pit entry was that, Fudd? I've missed that. I've not been watching the build-up because I've been getting the stream ready, so I don't know what I've missed. Yeah. Patrick says, watching the following of the cars, this track is terrible for F1. It's not good for racing. Again, it's great to see the cars around here, Patrick, and see sort of through the fast corners and the energy and same as anything. A bit like Monaco. It's great to see them round Monaco, but it's not necessarily great for racing. But I mean, MotoGP is good, so that's something, I guess. It's not a bad track. It's just not a particularly good one for F1. I just hope that the smaller cars and what they're doing with Active Aero and things changes for 26, and it sort of some of these tracks do. I mean, Monaco will always be Monaco, won't it? It's never going to happen, but yeah, hopefully better next year. Williams fell off, says the C Gaming. Yeah, hard this weekend, haven't they? Big time. So I'm a little bit of a shame. I wasn't expecting them to get in that fight for 6th, but yeah, exactly, big. It's a motorcycle track, so there you go. James says Oscar cut pretty sharply ahead of Lewis on the way into the pits across the white line. Okay, my guess there, I don't like to guess. I guessed yesterday that Max might get a penalty, unless George wasn't on a hot lap, and then I got a load of abuse from a couple of people. So I look forward to them popping on apologising later. They won't, but there you go. But yeah, no, my surely a reprimand for that, I'd have thought, because it's pre-race, isn't it? It just depends how. The problem is we've got a new, we've got stewards in this weekend. We've got a new race director. I know he doesn't decide things, but he'll be involved in the conversation somewhere. So I don't know what he's told them to do with those sorts of things. He might say, look, if that's in the build up to a race, that needs to be a penalty, a sporting one. But usually when it happens, unsafe release, for example, generally speaking, is pre-race or in qualifying or whatever, tends to be a reprimand, or if it's the team's fault, a fine. So I don't think it'll be a sporting penalty, but the fact they're investigating after the race, that's what's making me sort of just raise an eyebrow there. Let's see, is there anything in the... there's nothing actually in the official feed yet from the FIA on that, so that's an interesting one. Carlos Sainz, by the way, just as an example, yesterday, if you saw it in qualifying, pulled out in front of Lewis Hamilton, had to put the anchors on. He was given... Ferrari, given a €5,000 fine for that on the unsafe release. So had that happened in the race, that's a sporting penalty, of course, but or 9 times out of 10 it is. That one weird one in Hockenheim. Do you remember that? When was it Leclerc with the unsafe release, and then Ferrari got a fine, and everyone went, "Hang on a minute, you're putting a price on an unsafe release here," which got a few people riled up, to be fair. Is that table circling at the top, or has it been stuck on that for ages? There we go. Let's put it back to the beginning and see how we go. Yeah, that was a weird one. So that, yeah, sporting penalty in the race, but they might give that a reprimand, but we'll see after the Grand Prix. Hopefully we're not hanging around on the race reaction for too long waiting for a decision. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it's anything more than that, is I guess what I'm going to say there. Let's have a look at what else we've got. Marta's Afternoon Chickens. Hey, Marta, hope you're well. Joe on fire, apparently, says Dietmar. That was a while ago, so I don't know what's happened there. But, I mean, yesterday he was on fire, cracking lap in quali. Poor final sector, to be fair. So, cracking first 2 sectors to end up 12th place. So, good stuff for him there. But yeah, do you know what, Max? I was just thinking. Max said, I hate it when they look at this stuff after the race. I don't mind investigating something after the race when it happens on like lap 50 of 54 or something. But we've seen it before where something happens on like lap 10 of a 72 lap race and they go, we'll investigate after the session. You're like, why? Just have a look. I know they like to talk to the drivers, but sometimes you can look at a situation and go, that's a penalty. But I don't know. They're weird at times, and we'll see. New race director, things change. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Yasmin wants to know if Ferrari can win this one. They absolutely can. Whether they will, 5th and 7th on the grid, tough track to overtake. DRS train likely. It was close in the sprint, but I think Russell's going to be tough to pass today. Verstappen will be feisty, he'll be tough to pass as always. Norris and Piastri are going to be quick. They'll be tough to pass. I think they're going to need some luck. But never say never. Things happen in Formula One. A nicely timed safety car, that is luck, I know. Dare I say some clever strategy from Ferrari? It does happen sometimes, occasionally. But no, I would go with they're not. I don't think they'll win, but they can win, and I hope they do. I want a title decider. I am really enjoying the fight for 6th place in the constructors, but people are already struggling to sell the title fight in the constructors, let alone a fight for 6th place. So I kind of want something to get excited about for the final race, other than, like I said yesterday, we'll have a non-uniform day and we'll all bring in videos from home and we can watch those instead of doing any work, final day of term kind of thing. Yeah, I'd like to see them, but I doubt it. Richie says, I am surprised unsafe releases aren't punished more severely. It seems it can be a safety for the mechanics in the pit lane. That I tell you what, James agrees with you. John will agree with you on that one. I think €5,000 for a team like Ferrari, not a lot, is it? It's a lot of money to us, but it's not a lot of money to Ferrari. But so it doesn't seem like a massive punishment. But then I don't want to see Carlos Sainz getting a 5-place grid drop or a 10-place grid drop or a 1-place grid drop or a 3-place grid drop, whatever, any kind of sporting penalty because his mechanic waved him out of the garage too soon or whatever, and that put him in the path, because it's not, Carlos Sainz can't see anything in that situation really. He's watching his mechanic, he's got to watch where he's going, he's getting the car out of the garage, he's relying on the guy at the front. So it'd be really harsh to give a sporting penalty. But unless I mean, we could go back to the conversation which we've had millions of times on this channel about where do we start punishing constructors points. But then, I get what you're saying. It's a safety thing. It is a team sport, but I still think that would be a bit shit for Carlos Sainz, to be honest, Del, in that situation specifically, or any driver. But then it's not the mechanic's fault when the driver sticks it in the wall, is it? So, like you say, team sport. What's the phrase? We win together and we lose together. Fudd says €5,000 is just another contribution to the FIA end of year party. Yeah, the gala this year. Have you seen it? Oh, it's going to be amazing. It might be worth watching for a change. I think I've watched one, and that was when Kimi Räikkönen turned up drunk. And that was only after the fact because I knew he was drunk. It's as simple as that. But yes, we're going to head over to the watch on screen just a minute. I will start getting multi-view already now, so it's not a rush towards the end. But very much looking forward to sharing this with you, as always. Penultimate race of the season as well. I mean, come on, that sucks. Why are we there already? It's not good enough. So, like I said yesterday, Abu Dhabi for me is a race I never look forward to because it is the finale. I didn't used to like the track. There's parts of it that I do quite like now. That new turn 5, I do enjoy that one. But yeah, just because it's the final race of the season, it just feels a bit meh. So I don't really like it. But that's just because I'm miserable. What can I say? I'm going to have the track limits open today because I think that this is one of those tracks where we are going to have to keep an eye on track limits. So I'll keep the thing open so I can let you know what is going on there. But I'm going to hopefully get a few more bits of info on here to help me through this. So I felt last week we didn't have enough info, but then we'll see how we go. Of course, just a reminder, we'll be live. What time? Well, if this race is a bit there, we're probably looking at a 4:30 finish UK time, an hour and a half ish. So probably live about an hour and a half after that. Maybe say 6, half 6 for the race reaction. I've got Stuart with me again today, as seems to be always the case now. So yes, got Stuart with me for that one. So looking forward to having Stuart on board. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to try and have the full timing open as well, so I can tell you who's in DRS and when. Kind of tricky to do though, because I've got I stopped doing Watchalong, so I got rid of my you're going to love this number, 4th monitor. I feel like I could do with that back now, if I'm being honest. So, yes, I don't need the RPM. I don't need the throttle. That's okay. We'll just go with the DRS. There we go. Anyway, I'm talking to myself as I set all this up because it's the only way I could do this. I have to talk to myself. Let's have a look at what your questions are then. What time is it now? It is nearly 4 p.m, 5 to 4 in the UK, Tommy. The gap between 4th and 5th in the constructors is 348 points or 405%. How does anyone think this is a good system? Says Del. The music's just kicking in, so we'll get over to watch on screen in just a second. I do just want to say as well, by the way, no, I don't. I said that yesterday. Doesn't matter. I said it yesterday. Forget that. I'm just being me about it. So I've got the live timing. We are ready to go. I won't have the AI radio transcripts. I will do. Why not? Why not? See what happens. So if you've not got that, if you've got multi-view for F1, you'll know what I mean. Sometimes the radio transcripts are absolutely hilarious because the AI isn't quite sure what to make of them. But there we go. Then let's head on over to the watch along screen. I'll take that. Not bad at all. Just a reminder, of course, no on-track footage. I'll put the picture up because I know some of you like to see that. Where is it? There's the disclaimer. No on-track footage because, of course, it's against the law, Lawson. I know, hilarious. Instead, live time provided by Multiviewer for F1. If you haven't got the app, link in the description. Definitely go and check it out. It's a fantastic piece of software. It is free to download, but it will cost you if you want to get all the features, because you've got to have an F1 TV Pro or Access subscription. Not too expensive, though, to be fair. So definitely go and check those guys out. Stream isn't sponsored, but obviously they let me use the timing, so the least I can do is give them a shout out. So thank you to those guys. Please do drop a like on the stream as well. 228 of you here for this one. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sure that number will shoot up soon as well. So please do drop a like and subscribe if you are new. Jason Swift was the last person on my list for subscribing. I think that was yesterday, though, so you got another shout out, Jason. But I will give you shout outs throughout the race if you subscribe as well. So there we go. I'll take that picture down in just a moment because they are getting ready on the grid. I'm just going to pause for a second while I get everything in place. And by everything, I mean specifically me. They're about to run through the grid. So here we go. Here is your starting grid. I've already been through it once. We'll do it again. Esteban Ocon is 20th with Franco Colapinto in 19th place in the Williams. What can they do from back there? Nico Hulkenberg in 18th with Liam Lawson in 17th place in the RB. There's a scrap there for 6th in the Constructors, of course. Alex Albon 16th and Lance Stroll in 15th place. See what they can do. Yuki Tsunoda 14th and Valtteri Bottas in 13th. Actually a cracking lap there for him, and a cracking lap for his teammate to be 12th. Zhou Guanyu 12th place, and Pierre Gasly in with a shot of points once again in 11th. They'd be big for that Constructors Championship fight. Kevin Magnussen in 10th place, and Sergio Perez up in 9th, getting a nosebleed up there, bless him. 8th place, Fernando Alonso for Aston Martin with his a good pal alongside him, Carlos Sainz in 7th. 6th is Lewis Hamilton with his future teammate next year, of course, Charles Leclerc in 5th place in the Ferrari. 4th place, we have Oscar Piastri, and 3rd place, Lando Norris. Big day for McLaren. Can they get their first Constructors title in 26 years? And then we've got on the front row Max Verstappen after his one-place grid drop in 2nd place, and George Russell starts on pole position for the 4th time this year. Is that a good year, George? I will remove the picture, don't worry. I'm going to do it now. I may have to rejig my screen because I'm not very happy with where everything is right now, so I'll do my best. But let's get the track map back on and close the disclaimer. In fact, actually, I'll just turn the track map out for a second while I sort all this out because I'm not happy with where everything is, and I'm going to have a right sulk if it's not where I need it to be. I'm a bit of a... Well, it's not sharing too much. I have OCD, as in actually have OCD, not just say that I do. So it's a little bit, things have to be a very specific way. And I'm a little bit weird like that, but that's the beauty of being me. So there you go. Hopefully that's going to be okay. Not quite. We've still got a bit too much info on there, but we'll just close that down. There we go. And there's your track map. Would you like it bigger than that? There we go. Oh, dearie me. I'm so ready for this. It's unbelievable. It doesn't feel like I'm ready the way I'm talking here. Who are you going for the win then? Let me know in the chat. We'll close the poll in fact, we'll do it now while I remember. Probably a good time to do it before they gear up on the formation lap. So 41% of you think Max Verstappen will win. 26% are going with George Russell. 21% think somebody else. And only 10% of you reckon Lando Norris is going to win this race. Big call. Big call. Mr. Saturday, says Dale. Yes, indeed. It's Sunday today, though. No, but I take the point, yes. We'll keep an eye on the transcripts as well, and I'll let you know what's been going on. But we are ready for the Qatar Grand Prix. Penultimate race of the season. Leclerc for the win, says Juan. Good to see you again, Juan. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm going to stick with my prediction from Thursday and say Piastri. Simply because I want some drama today and some excitement. So we'll go with Oscar Piastri. Why not? It's unlikely, but we'll see how we go. Covers are off, says Tommy Guy. Yes, they are, and the cars are pulling away now on the formation lap. How are you, says Casper. I'm really well, thank you, Casper. I get very excited when it comes to a race. Sorry, I'm headbutting the mic and trying to move it around to get comfortable. But yeah, I love a Grand Prix day. It's... every Sunday when it's Grand Prix day, I'm happy whatever happens. So yeah, I'm good. I hope you are too, Casper. Good to see you again. It's either Max or Lewis for me for the win, says Fudd. And C Gaming says Max Verstappen will win. We shall see. Though he's second on the grid, he's got a chance, hasn't he? Let's be honest here. So good opportunity for him. I'll just a quick refresh of everything, make sure that I am in time with all of you guys, because I don't want me to get excited. But I will try my best to commentate on this, Murray Squawker and all that, but I'm not sure that I'll keep up with everything in the same way that the pros do, but I'll do my best. We'll get through it together. And if it's a bit boring, we'll start singing songs later. We'll do some Christmas songs because it's the 1st of December, so we can. George starting, someone will crash, says Salt. We'll find out. Alonso in the points as well for one. That'd be a great day for Fernando, I think, if he can get some points on the board, or a point on the board. Let me know in chat when the last time he scored was. I can't remember. Piastri told his clutch drop was on target, so that's good news for him. So what tyres have we got then? So we've got mediums for literally everybody apart from Nico Hülkenberg. Used tyres for Russell, for Leclerc, for Sainz, for Alonso, and for Stroll, but they may well just be a case of sticking on, one lap on them to put them through a heat cycle and all of that business. So I don't think there's anything. They're not going to be 30 laps on them. In fact, I could probably tell you, actually, yeah, indeed. Russell's got 1 lap on them, Leclerc 1 lap, Sainz 1 lap, and that's the same for... Alonso has no laps, apparently, on them, and so does Stroll, but they are used, but they are coming around to the grid. I'd love to do wet commentary, March. It'd just be like a testing stream, wouldn't it? Essentially. The Qatar weekend apparently is sold out. Even if it wasn't, I suspect we'd have been told it was anyway. But it does look pretty... the grandstands that are there are full, to be fair, so good news for the promoters there, I'm sure. But here we go. Lining up on the grid. George Russell already stopped on the pole spot. Max Verstappen is not even anywhere near. He's still cruising up now. We are delayed because I've not done the thing. So let me just do that and bring everything into sync so that you can have the timing as I'm seeing it. So it'll make more sense. There we go. Russell is lined up. Max is there now. Norris as well. We've got Esteban Ocon, the last driver, of course, on the grid. Somebody said yesterday he's got the old front wing on there and the old nose, so it's heavier and not as efficient as Gasly, so that could be why some of his pace has dropped off. But still, big surprise to see him down there. Hülkenberg as well. Looking forward to see what he can do from 18th place. The risk of rain is 0%. You'll be unsurprised to hear. 23.1 degrees track temperature, 19.1 degrees air temperature, 55% humidity, and like I say, no chance of rain. So this is going to be a slog. It is a killer on the tyres, this one. Graining is the big thing. We could see multiple stops today. Hopefully. We don't want a one-stop snooze fest. I'll count down the lights, or I'll count on the lights, I suppose. Technically, we'll wait for the green flag at the back. The medical car is in position. The green flag is waving. Here we go. 1 light, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights. And we're going Qatar for the title decided. The Constructors title decided. George Russell and Max Verstappen. Fairly even start, but Verstappen has got alongside on the inside. Will George dare it out around the outside? Norris having a look as well. We've got 3 wide almost into turn 1 as Norris tries to go from 3rd to 1st. And Norris has just about gone, not quite. George Russell drops from 1st to 3rd. Max Verstappen up into the lead. And Lando Norris had a cracking start up into 2nd place. We've got Hülkenberg, Ocon, and I believe what could be Colapinto back there at turn 1. There's been an incident. Hülkenberg has continued. There will be a quick safety car here, I would imagine, if all is going as expected. I'd be surprised if we don't get a safety car because they have stopped on track. We've got dust everywhere. What has happened for Colapinto and Esteban Ocon? But George Russell has dropped down to 3rd place with Lando Norris in 2nd and Max Verstappen up to 3rd. That is surely going to be a safety car very early on in this race, unless they feel they can clear them before they get round. And the safety car has been deployed. There we go. Early safety car. We'll find out what happened there, but a chaotic start with Lando Norris almost sneaking into the lead. And there's been a crash is the answer. That's probably not going to surprise you too much. But yes, Max Verstappen leads. Lando Norris 2nd and George Russell 3rd. Leclerc 4th. Piastri down to 5th. 6th for Sainz. 7th for Perez. 8th for Alonso. 9th for Hamilton, down 3 places. And Yuki Tsunoda up 4 to P10. What a start for him. We'll see what happens shortly. There's Nico Hülkenberg creeping back with a left rear puncture. In fact, more than left rear puncture, the wheels off the rim, or the tyres off the rim. Where do we get to? Magnus 11th, Gasly 12th, Bottas 13th, Lawson 14th, Joe 15th, Stroll 16th, Albon 17th, Hülkenberg 18th, and already retired are Esteban Ocon and Franco Colapinto. We'll see what happened. I hope it's not too much damage on the Williams. I just saw some, Williams Mechanics with another nightmare says, is it me or Maya? Yes, absolutely. So Bottas not far off in the points, either 13th place, so he's in the mix still. Was hoping that he wouldn't go backwards. Zhou has a bit, lost 3 places off the line, but the big winners really, obviously Max Verstappen taking the lead is a big win, but Perez is up 2 places, Tsunoda's up 4, Lawson's up 3, Stroll is down 2, Zhou's down 3, Hamilton's down 3, and Russell's down 2. So have a look at the restart here, at the start now. Verstappen gets a better second phase, I'd argue there. Pretty even off the line initially, but then George comes across to cover, but Max is already alongside. He then goes into turn 1 a little bit deep, in the middle of the track, really. Norris then sneaks up into what is briefly the lead before Verstappen has the inside for turn 2 and takes the position. And Norris just sort of start to close in and have a look at the next corner, but doesn't quite pull that one off. Alonso had a brilliant start, or was it Hamilton getting it bogged down, maybe, actually, but still, great start for Alonso to stay P8 somehow, despite a very good start, so maybe Hamilton getting bogged down. And then at the back there, we see Hülkenberg, and it looks like Hülkenberg and Ocon come together, and then they go into Colapinto, who, unless I've missed something there, did absolutely nothing wrong. Poor Franco Colapinto. Poor Williams. So we're on board with Ocon now on the run to turn 1. So Hülkenberg is just ahead of us. Ocon's going to go late on the brakes. There's a little bit of contact between the two, between Albon and an RB, and it looks like Hülkenberg just loses the back end and sort of slides into Ocon, who then hits Colapinto. We've got the gyro cam here on Hülkenberg, so we're not going to see that again today. So what happens? So Hülkenberg Hülkenberg sort of loses it on his own there, and then loses the back end, hits Ocon, who then again, like I say, bowls into Franco Colapinto. What a shame for Colapinto. Did nothing wrong there at all. Just mind his business on the outside, and then bang from Esteban Ocon after being hit from. It's not. No, it is Colapinto. It is Colapinto, sorry. And Albon got hit by Stroll. Also had a spin. So that was Albon we were watching there, who was hit by Lance Stroll into a spin. So Stroll into. I don't know what corner that is. I've lost track of where we are now. He goes into the corner. Yeah. It's turn 4, I think, and then hits Albon. And they both go into a spin. What a sloppy first lap. So just to recap. What we're watching with Zhou here. Zhou's going to get caught up in this, I think, and have to take evasive action. So Stroll sort of understeers into Albon, which sends Albon into a spin. That means Zhou has to back off to avoid the accident, and that costs him time. So Stroll just understeering into Albon, putting them both into a spin and costing Zhou a lot of time there. So frustration. That's why he dropped down, did Stroll. So sloppy first lap. So, the headline so far, Max Verstappen with a good start to get ahead of George Russell into turn 1. Norris nearly took the lead around the outside of 2, around the inside of 1, sorry, but then Verstappen had the inside for 2 and kept the position. Russell's down 2 places. Hamilton with a shocker down 3 places, seemed to bog down off the line a little bit, and Tsunoda's gained 4 places, but really, further back, Albon and Stroll came together. Stroll understeering into Albon, putting him into a spin, or both into a spin. That's cost them time. Then Hülkenberg lost his car, hit Ocon, who then hit Colapinto as a result. Ocon and Colapinto out. Hülkenberg in for repairs. Perez up to 7th place, by the way. There you go. That's your first part of the race. If we do this from now on, we'll have a start of the race. Sean can get all excited, and then we'll just have a safety car for a few laps so I can calm down again. I can't help it. I just get excited. It was Tyson. He stood out, says Tommy Guy. Which one, Tommy? I'm just trying. Yeah. You could argue for both of them, really, couldn't you? So Hülkenberg might get a penalty, but the only problem is, Dimer, is that we tend to see a bit of leniency on the first lap at turn 1, but that has eliminated 2 cars. Hülkenberg's obviously, of course, not done anything deliberately there. That was just a mistake, and it can happen to anybody, but it happened to him today and took out 2 cars in the process. Yeah. Hülkenberg and the team discussing on the radio about making a one-stop work given where they are now. So that's something to keep an eye on now, is whether or not Hülkenberg will just try and make those tyres go to the end. The hard tyre is pretty durable, but that seems like a long way to... He can't one-stop, surely. Unless he one-stop from here, sorry. No, I've got mixed up, so it's one-stop from here. Because... he's already used... another set of hard tyres, so he's going to have to go as long as he can and then pit for the medium. So it'll be run long now for Hülkenberg and stick the mediums on with 20 laps to go or something like that. Hope for another safety car. But yeah, dramatic start there in Qatar. Turn 1 incident, obviously, under investigation. Ocon, Hulkenberg and Colapinto. Again, I can't see... Sorry, noted. I can't see how Ocon or Colapinto get anything out of that. Just unfortunate. But Hulkenberg, if you're interested, officially fastest lap of the race on a 2-minute 11.639 in clear air at the back of the pack. So 2 sets of hards for Hulkenberg. He'll have to stick the mediums on late on, and Stroll put the mediums on, so he could theoretically go to the end. He's not going to take those mediums to the end. Safety car is in this lap, and then we'll be back to green. We're going to watch a restart of the race again, watching Verstappen on board, which will be good. Yes, it's fairly even initially off the line, but then just that second phase and a bit further down, Verstappen just had a bit more, which is surprising given it's a dirty side of the track, and he keeps the position, but he's middle of the track, which allows Norris up the inside, who does take the lead, but then Verstappen just tucks in nicely, makes a corner, lets it drift out wide and takes the lead. So Verstappen is race leader. There we go. Haas in the battle for 6th in the Constructors. Tsunoda currently giving them a bit of a boost there. RB in 10th place, but a long way to go in this race. Hulkenberg out of the picture at the moment. Well, the safety car does bring him back into play. He was down in 18th place anyway, and he's still 18th, isn't he, technically, even though that is now last. But yeah. Here we go. We're just getting ready for the restart. Lando Norris tucking in behind Verstappen. When will Verstappen go? I think it was around turn 15 in the F2 today where they were going under safety car. So maybe Max will do the same. We'll soon see. The track is now clear. So we are going back to green racing. Or green flag racing, you know. I don't know how green the racing is in Formula 1 these days, but greener than it used to be. Here he goes then. So it is on the run between 15 and 16. He's decided to floor it. Still a bit of weaving there going on, but through 16. So Max Verstappen leads the field away at the safety car restart with Lando Norris in P2. Already Verstappen feeling the need to try and break the toe. It is a long straight here, which, you know, not a surprise on a relatively newly built track. It's not new. Russell having a little look at Norris. We're not going to make that one stick. Alonso has got Tsunoda around his outside for company, and Yuki Tsunoda up into 9th place with a lovely move around the outside, and that's Lawson off in the background with a Sauber. Don't know what's happened there. Apparently they've all forgotten how to drive today, and that's Yuki Tsunoda is past Fernando Alonso with a nice move around the outside. Lawson has got going again, so that's not going to be another safety car. We'll see what happened there shortly. A lot of gravel on the track, but we have still got Verstappen leading 8/10 clear of Lando Norris. We've got the 2 Ferraris fighting here. Charles Leclerc in 5th place and Carlos Sainz in 6th. This is where it's going to settle down now, isn't it? It's going to get a bit in there because the gaps are pretty static on his first lap, but Verstappen will be pretty keen if he can to break that DRS, and he has done, to be fair. The stewards have decided no further action on turn 1. There you go. That answers that one. But Verstappen has, just by 0.003 of a second, not anymore he hasn't, broken DRS, and the DRS detection point, it'll be activated the next lap, so it won't count this time around, but it is, just so you know, just after turn 15, and that is the only DRS zone, 100 metres shorter, apparently, according to Alpine, than it was last year, as Magnussen passes Alonso for P10. Has Alonso got a problem? He's lost 2 places this lap, and he seems already to be falling off the back of Magnussen. And he's got Gasly and Zhou and Bottas for company. Interesting. Keep an eye on Fernando Alonso. Maybe he just hasn't got the pace. We're going to watch a replay of something here, but I can't see what it is because I'm blind as a bat. Why not? They are going to investigate the Stroll and Albon one. That's less surprising. And that is Piastri passing a Ferrari. That would be Piastri passing Leclerc back into P4. That's what I missed. I thought I'd missed something in that squabble there. I was watching other things. And Liam Lawson went for a move up the inside of the Sauber. What's going to happen here? I'm guessing somebody's going to turn in. No, Lawson gets a bit of a twitch on and kind of spins, doesn't hit the Sauber, but the Sauber sees it coming and jumps out of the way, and that avoided the incident. And then this going to be Fernando Alonso being overtaken by Lewis Hamilton. That'll be, won't it, up into 8th place. And that's going to be followed through by Yuki Tsunoda. And Alonso says, man, the speed on the straight is worrying. GP2 engine. There you go. They are going to investigate Bottas and Lawson for causing a collision, so there maybe was contact there. It didn't look like it initially, but yes, that's why Tsunoda got through. Hamilton got past, and then Tsunoda followed him past Fernando, but the straight line speed, a concern. If you are watching that replay, by the way, on TV, picture-in-picture, there is no DRS at that point. It's just, and then that's when Magnussen snuck through as well, almost. Just no straight line speed for the Aston Martin. That is a concern. But Oscar Piastri is now right on the back of George Russell. Verstappen has broken DRS. Piastri has got DRS. Let's see if George Russell fancies some revenge for Piastri's defending yesterday. This could be fun. Dykeman says, man, Sauber's look is just non-existent at this point. Feels like it, doesn't it? So, I mean, they're still in with a shot, 13th and 14th. It seems like there's going to be a little bit of drama today at times. So, Lawson already passed Stroll as Verstappen does the fastest lap of the race on a 1:26.502 last time around, and already purple in the first sector. So, Verstappen, at this stage of the race, some decent race pace. However, what I will say is, don't forget, we do tend to have this situation where McLaren nurse their tyres early on, or nurse them better than others early on. So maybe they'll get the gap to Verstappen, keep it at 1.5, 2 seconds, try and stay out the dirty air as much as possible, and then floor it around the pit stops. We shall see. I would imagine a 2-stop. I would hope for a 2-stop strategy today to try and keep it interesting, but who knows? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts in chat. I'll come to you more in chat now. Things are starting to settle down. I really hope we don't end up having to do some singing later or something. We'll start to make some pasta pictures out of dry pasta. Did that at school? Surely did that at school. Everybody did that at school. Artwork. With dry pasta. Why not? Play with your food. Yeah, so 1-stop is what they're saying is the medium to hard. Then they also about 2-stop being medium on lap 17 to hard on lap 20. 20 laps on hard, 20 laps on hard. So they're thinking 24 laps into the race we'll get the first of 1-stop. I hope that's not the case. Yeah, macaroni paintings, that's it, lump sum. We used to do it with we used to use pasta shells and pasta bows and stuff, and glitter and gold spray and that. It is a 10-second time penalty for Lance Stroll for causing a collision with Alex Albon. I am absolutely stunned by that, and just as that happens, he's told to retire the car. I wonder, wow, we've had this conversation, how many times have we debated this? Will that convert into a grid drop then for the next race if they retire the car now with a 10-second penalty, or should they? No, clever. They pulled him in. Did he wait for 10 seconds first? Because they brought him in to retire the car, then changed the tyres, and then sent him out again. So I wonder if they've served the penalty, and then they'll send him round and retire the car now. Let's see what happens. He was definitely told on the radio to retire the car. So that might... And then they got the 10-second penalty at about the same time, so they might have just thought, let's get that stop out of the way, get the 10 seconds served, and then avoid a penalty for Abu Dhabi on the final weekend. Maybe. I do see some possible damage on the data. Next cars 25 seconds back, so just bring it back into the pit lane is what Stroll was told over the team radio. Alonso says, I cannot drive. I cannot believe it, man. 2 years with the same problem on the straights. So Fernando is going full GP2 engine here. He's not happy. Rejoining on safely, Fernando Alonso at turn 14 has been noted. Hopefully get a replay of that one. But yeah, disappointing to... here we go. We're going to get a replay now. So this is Norris. Why are we watching Norris for? That's not... that's not... Why are we watching him? What's the point? He's going to get it wrong, isn't he, on the exit of turn 4? Yes, he is, and just kick up some gravel there. I think turn 4. I get really confused by the corner on this track, as I've already said. So yeah, I think that was turn 4. Kicking up the gravel. There we go. Hamilton catching Perez, as Lump Sum has rightly said. Hamilton has been noted for a false start. Now, is that going to be... Schrodinger's false start? I know they've changed the wording of the rules. I'm just poking fun. Is it Schrodinger's false start, or is it an actual false start? Let's find out in the coming moments. So that could be a penalty there. They tend to be. If they've seen it, it will probably be a penalty. We will probably get a replay at some point. Was he outside of his box at the start? Well, I didn't want to say it, Lee. Lee says a grid drop for Stroll is not going to change a lot. I didn't want to say it. I'll let you have that one. Hacker says that Lewis and Loveheart. Let's see what's happened here for the false start. He does move before the lights go out, but only just. He's apologised over the radio, so that will be a penalty then. So he's accepting that already. He says, sorry about that, guys. That was a... it was ever so slightly before the lights went out, but it doesn't matter, does it? It will be a penalty. They are retiring Stroll's car, so they probably did serve the penalty at the pit stop, which would explain that one. So Stroll is our third retirement in the first 9-10 laps here, with Colapinto and Ocon crashing at turn 1 thanks to Nico Hülkenberg losing his car. And Stroll has now retired with whatever's going on there. Yeah. Albon says, yeah, I'm here, you're in Spanish. I'm guessing that's one that the AI's got wrong. So they are going to investigate the Lawson and Bottas one. They're not just noticed it, they're investigating it for causing a collision. So I'd like a replay of that, because the onboard didn't look like there was contact. It looked close to it, but we'll see. We'll see. Here is a move. Kevin Magnussen is going to go and try it around the outside. I said it yesterday. The outside of turn 1 at some... Oh, they're almost banging wheels. And then Tsunoda gets really rough in there and says, no, mate, I'm keeping that one. Did they touch? Oh, about as close as you could get without it. Great racing there. Magnussen did kick up the dust. He did leave the track, though. Was he all 4 wheels off the track? I can rewind ever so slightly if it'll let me rewind live TV and just see if he was off the track. We might have an argument here about what... He was all 4 wheels off the track, but they might decide he was forced out there. We'll find out in the coming moments. Again, lots to keep an eye on here. But the battle at the moment for the final point between Tsunoda, Gasly, Alonso, and Zhou is what we're watching. That's Gasly getting very close to Tsunoda under DRS, but Tsunoda just making sure he's covered that one, and Gasly doesn't have a look at this stage. Let's see. Through here, this is very, very much follow the leader. We did see a couple of moves this weekend where drivers have just sent one into something like a turn 7 or a turn 6, but I'm not sure Gasly will risk that today. Big opportunity, although Magnussen is in 9th place, a big opportunity here. He's saying Tsunoda's moving under braking a lot. Sorry, a little bit too late, says Gasly, so we'll keep an eye on that next time around. The C Gaming says Perez will drop to P16. The Ferraris look slow today, says Lump Sum. Let's have a look at Ferrari. Let's check in. Ferrari watch. As you say that, Lump Sum, Carlos Sainz sets the fastest first sector of the race. So, Lump Sum, you're my favourite person today. Ferrari found pace. Although he was not great in the middle sector, to be fair. So, there you go. But yeah, I mean, Leclerc's 3.4 behind Piastri. He's 8 seconds off the lead. Sainz is 8 tenths further back, 9 tenths further back on his teammate, and they are clear of Perez. It is a 10-second time penalty. 10-second time penalty for Liam Lawson for causing a collision. I would like a replay of that, race director, who will not be paying any attention to this one, or the broadcast director. They won't be listening to me, that's for sure, but that'd be cool. You can't cause the collision with Bottas. It's against the law, son, says Fudd. See, it's rubbing off, Fudd. You've got everything now. Whenever you say law, you're going to have to say son at the end. You're going to have to. It's just, all because I spent 3 minutes making a picture. There you go. Not a macaroni one. So just to confirm, I think Stroll served his penalty, but he did get a penalty, and it's a 10-second time penalty now for Liam Lawson. Hülkenberg got nothing for turn 1, so again, a bit more lenient with what happened at turn 1, obviously, on the opening lap are the race stewards. So quite a bit of drama in these first 10 laps, but like I say, things settled down at the front now. Verstappen 2.1 seconds clear of Lando, Norris with Russell 1.8 further back, and Piastri sort of flitting between 8 tenths and a second off Russell in 4th place. Then you've got a bit of a gap to Leclerc and Sainz, and then a bit of a gap to Perez, who's got Hamilton right behind him at the moment, so that's a fight we need to be watching as well. Then Magnussen's got 1.1 seconds over Tsunoda, who is just ahead of Gasly, who again is just ahead of Alonso, who is just ahead of Zhou, who is just ahead of Bottas, so that's a nice little scrap in there. Albon sort of not cut adrift, but 2.3 seconds back, with Hülkenberg a couple of seconds back from there, and Lawson 1.4, 1.5 behind Hülkenberg. So really, Perez versus Hamilton, and then what's happening, sort of Tsunoda, Gasly, Alonso, Zhou, and Bottas is where the fun is at the moment. But here is Hamilton. We're watching him now. Sainz is within DRS of his teammate, but they might just be taking it easy there. Hamilton closing on Perez, but not... unless he fancies a dive bomb into that corner, I doubt it. They have noted the Tsunoda and Magnussen incident, by the way, in turn 1. Norris told Verstappen's tyres are similar to theirs and Russell's are slightly worse. And that's Gasly around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda into 10th place for what could be a big point, especially if we can get after Kevin Magnussen now in that Alpine, because that is the fight, of course, outside of the Constructors title that we're keeping an eye on now. Deitmer says it's only been 10 laps. The good news for you, Deitmer, is we're 13 laps now. So I'm guessing by that comment you're not enjoying it too much. It's been chaotic, but that's that was the replay I wanted to see. Actually, I'll just go back. I'm so glad I've got a Skybox so I can I could just record and rewind and things. He does hit Bottas, to be fair. Lawson goes into turn one, back end gets away a little bit like Hülkenberg, and then hits Bottas as he starts to spin. So that's a penalty, to be fair. It didn't look like contact initially because obviously the onboard we only see the front wheels, don't we? So Smelly always says, do you think that's their name? I'm not calling them Smelly. Do you think McLaren's tyre advantage is gone? Let's wait and see. Like I say, they have got this habit at the moment of sort of sitting on those tyres and looking after them, don't they, in the early phases, and then picking up the pace around the stops and towards the end of the race. They might just be in a tyre management phase. So let's see what happens there. Why so much Team LH in chat, says the C Gaming. That's fine. If you're fans of drivers, as long as you're respectful, you're welcome. We just don't want abuse here. We don't want trolling or anything like that. Just feel free to talk. Heated debates are fine and disagreements are fine, but let's keep it pleasant. So Magnussen being told, so I've just been caught out. So Lewis Hamilton's got a 5-second time penalty for a false start. So goodness me, stewards are busy. Rui Marquez, who's doing F2 this weekend as well as everything else, and F1, has got a busy day sending stuff off to the stewards who are investigating them and obviously handing out the penalties. So it's a 5-second time penalty for Lewis Hamilton. Dytmer says, enjoying it a lot, so it surprised me that it's so much has happened in just 10 laps. I got you now. Yeah, I get you. Sorry, mine tends to go to the negative sometimes. A penalty-heavy race. Yes, absolutely. In terms of track limits violations, no further investigation on Fernando Alonso for rejoining unsafely. But there have only been 3. Gasly's got a violation. Alonso's got a violation, as has Kevin Magnussen. But Magnussen was kind of shoved a little bit out there by Yuki Tsunoda in that fight. Not actually shoved, but run out wide, let's say. Leclerc sets the fastest lap. There you go. 1:25.660 and closed in a little bit on actually 4/10 quicker than Piastri on that lap. So good lap that from Charles Leclerc. Maybe Ferrari looking after tyres a little bit to bring themselves back into play. I missed the Magnussen team radio. I'll see if I can find it on the thing. As Zhou Guan Yu goes around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda and up into 12th place. There is some pace in that Sauber. Yeah, I can't see that on the feed. So if anyone knows what was said to Magnussen, it might not have been important, but just to let you know. But yes, of course, yeah, accepted off of the debate around Stoffel Van Dorn. He is the best driver from Belgium in a McLaren in 2018. There's no doubt about that. So what have we got going on? So Piastri is still on the back of George Russell, but not quite close enough to threaten. He's in DRS, but not really able to attack. We're going to watch the Zhou Guan Yu move now. It is DRS, I know, and people aren't happy with that, but it is a move to the outside of turn 1. Lovely move, sweeping around the outside and takes it for P12. Could Zhou get a point today? Could you imagine? Imagine Zhou gets the point for Sauber this year and Bottas doesn't. Good question for Freeze out. Are the V-carbs eating their tyres? Could be. Yeah, what's Tsunoda going to say? Mate, I'm pushing 100%, bro. And he was told, I know, man, hang in there. Like the cat on the poster. Yes, he's got to hang in there as Yuki Tsunoda. So he's pushing. But, I mean, Sauber are quick here. Bottas is already on the back of Zhou. I know DRS massively helpful around here, but that's still... good to see Sauber in the mix, frankly. Joints, exactly. All right, you can have that, Adele. I'll let you have that one. Double points for Sauber incoming, says Sorkis. That'd be amazing. Pascal's getting excited. Come on, Joe. Yeah. The C Gaming says, who's the best driver in your opinion? Of all time? Let's see if chat know who I'm going to say of all time. And it's completely riddled with bias, and it's not Stoffel Van Dorn. If you mean all time, chat will tell you that one very easily. We are on lap 16 of 57. I'm surprised. There you go. I'm surprised. Let's check pressures and tyre pressures the way I drive. And that's wide for Oscar Piastri in the final corner. Bit of dirty air, got a bit of a twitch on as well, and went wide. So that's cost him a bit of time, but still will have DRS, of course. He was at turn 15, and Norris is a fast lap of the race. So, like I say, just starting to pick up now in terms of pace, the McLarens. So this might get interesting in the coming laps for sure. Perez pulling away from Hamilton, says lump sum. Absolutely. Let's have a look at what happens to Piastri then. So comes through turn 15 nicely, and then to turn 6 gets a big oversteer, and then wide into the dusty part of the track. Keeps it floored though, to be fair. Manages to not lose too much time to Russell. About 0.6 of a second according to the AWS graphic, but yeah, that'd be about right, actually. Yeah, so he's got his lap time obviously deleted, but nicely held there and carries on. No major drama. Oh, Tom Stallard there on the pit wall. I'm just taking a moment to breathe there. So Verstappen is still the race leader. 1.7 seconds clear. Piastri obviously gets a violation for leaving the track there. So Leclerc says the way I drive, a puncture is likely. That's what the AI didn't quite pick up there. So when I drive, a puncture is likely. So they're asking to check the tyre pressures. So he was told pressures are fine, but let's just wait and see if anything happens there. Hopefully no issues there, but something to keep an eye on. With Charles Leclerc. That's my phrase today. Keep an eye and we'll see. Them are two phrases. Along with, please do drop a like on the stream, by the way. 753 of you here and 70 likes. Let's get that well over 100. That'd be amazing. And thank you to Stephanus, to Metal Detecting on the Spectrum, and Wallace Winning 11 for subscribing. Don't forget, if you do subscribe, I'll do some shout outs throughout the race. So please do hit that subscribe button and drop a like as well. We're still live again later today for the race reaction, about an hour and a half after the race is finished. I'll have Stuart there for that one, so we'll talk about the weekend, and then of course next weekend preview for Abu Dhabi, and then the usual qualifying watch along stream and the race watch along and race reaction next week. So likes and subs greatly appreciated, as Lando Norris is the fastest lap of the race on a 1:25.390, but Verstappen is responding with the fastest first sector. He's gone purple, fastest overall in the first sector. Here we go. I'm confident something's going to happen, but I'm just wondering when. Obviously, we've got some good battling in the midfield, which actually more overtaking today than I thought we'd get so far in that midfield scrapping. So good to see the Saubers in the mix, like I say, as well. Zhou's actually built a gap to Tsunoda of 2.1 seconds, and Bottas is still only 7/10 behind. How far on medium, says Tommy Guy? Did they say? Pirelli said at the start 24 laps is where they'll go on the medium tyre. So about 5 or 6, but we did have a couple of laps under safety car, so they may have saved them. So it might be a bit longer than that now, maybe closer to 27 or 28 laps. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment. 24 laps, what it says. Yeah, soon, very, very soon. Hamilton asking how slow we are compared to the others. About a second and a half. Look at the timings there. Yeah. I don't know why I'm answering this question for him. His engineer can do that. That's not my job. I'm checking the tyres for him. Like, I'll let you know, Lewis. Don't worry. Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, he's 26.4 versus 25.0, so 1.4 seconds on that lap compared to the leader. So he's probably not in this for the win today, Hamilton. Not a surprise, I guess, given where he started and that he's still tucked up behind Sergio. Perez 1.9 seconds behind. Maybe just a bit of a gap. Now, he has got a 5-second time penalty as well to bear in mind at the pit stop. Mark says you should have the last lap graphic instead of the best lap, I think. Yeah, probably, actually. Can I do that? I would try and do that on the fly, actually. Watch me break the whole thing. I can't. I can't. I'll have to. I will mention it to... I'm going to try it, but I'm going to copy the code so I can put it back in case I mess it up. If anything happens, Mark's in charge. You're in charge, Mark. Get commentating, mate. Let's see if we can do this. So let's say last lap. Last lap would make more sense. I think you're right. There we... Oh, I'm a coder. I put 2 words into the code. There you go. And we've got it. So that's the last lap for you. 25.3. You're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Mark, for pointing out. I didn't realise actually that was the best lap. I thought it was last lap automatically. So I was sat here smirking now. Look at me. I can type 2 words in a box. I'm getting good at this compooper stuff. It's very exciting. There you go. All sorted. So interval to the leader is there as well. And I'll keep an eye on the interval to the cars around them. So Ross is an anagram for absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So what's going on out there? Where are the battles? So Bottas has got past Tsunoda. I missed that one, but Pascal's dancing, so that's all right. We'll hopefully get a replay. He's been threatening that for a few laps now. I was messing around with coding, so there you go. But Hamilton is losing pace. I was just about to come back to that when I was talking about him earlier, wasn't I? He is considerably slower than the leader, actually. So Verstappen just done a 24.896. And that's a 20, or last time 26.383 for Hamilton. This time around a 26.383 again, apparently. So really not quick. Yeah. So Norris is in the undercut, almost in the undercut zone apparently on Verstappen. He's 1.1 seconds. The gap to come down to. Hamilton's on the radio. I've got to hold on a little bit here, so maybe struggling on the tyres. I think getting a 2-second gap to Perez won't be too bad, but it's the lap times that are poor more than anything there. But I think, and I don't want to get Pascal's hopes up, but I think Sauber have got a shot at a point today. If they get their strategy right and don't take a minute over their pit stops like they were earlier in the season, they may need a little bit of luck. I mean, Zhou's 0.2 quicker than Alonso on the last lap, and actually, both of them doing personal best. Bottas as well, 0.6 quicker than Alonso. So they are quicker than Fernando at the moment, and they are a little bit slower. Bottas slightly quicker than Gasly, but Zhou slower than Gasly. So we may be in a situation here where Sauber might have to make a decision if Bottas carries on that pace, 0.4 quicker than his teammate. But we'll see. We're going to get a replay now of Valtteri Bottas doing something. Through turn, just into the gravel there on the exit of turn, I think turn 2. Yeah, that's costing some time there. Incoming stuck wheel nut for Bottas again, says Dyke, probably. Just be his luck, wouldn't it? But yeah, the interval at the top, the 2 seconds between the leaders about the same, 1.9. Lap times, I mean, as near as identical as you can get almost, really. 24.970 for Verstappen and 24.997 for Norris. So Verstappen is pushing purple first sector again, and Norris is going with him. So it's... yeah. It's very much a 2-horse race at the moment, I would say. Russell and Piastri then in their own fight. The Ferrari sort of there if something happens between Russell and Piastri, but there is a gap of 2.1 back to Leclerc from Oscar. And then Perez and Hamilton were in a fight together, but Perez has either pulled away from Hamilton or Hamilton has dropped back. Either way, there is now a gap there. So, and then it's just everybody else pretty much, or soon will be. That if is doing a lot of lifting in that sentence, says freeze. Yeah. I'm playing F123 and watching you and playing Minecraft at the same time, says the CE Gaming. Wow, I'm running a stream, talking and watching a race, and I'm struggling to multitask. That's impressive. Maybe, and I mentioned it for the third time this weekend, maybe I should start playing farming. I'll do some farming simulator while watching the race. I'll just keep popping my head up and, oh yeah, that just happened. There you go. I like to try and commentate, but we are really here just to watch the race together, hence the phrase watch along, I suppose. Title gives it away. I think you're all smart enough to know that one. But I like to try and keep you updated as best I can. I often sit here not commentating to myself, but shouting at the TV when things happen, so you get to hear that instead. Dykeman's building Lego while listening. What Lego set you're building? I think I told you before. I've asked for the McLaren MP4 Lego set, the Senna one for Crimbo. So I'm intrigued by what set you're building. Yeah. Love Lego. Never too old for Lego. Another moment for Piastri on the exit, that final corner on the curb. Back end stepping out. Well held again, but he's still there against Russell. Where are we? Yeah, it's 7/10 of a second between them. The medieval town square says that. Oh, awesome. I will check that one out. Max says this has not been great. Stay with it. You know, they like to say it on Sky, you know, stick with us to the last 10 laps. You know, ignore the previous 47. The first few were brilliant, and it has settled down massively now, but Russell has pitted. He's first to pit. His story says, my kid took away my Lego. Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible. Take it back. Russell, slow stop. Really slow stop on the right rear for Russell. That has cost him big time there. Frustration from the mechanics. It's a 7-second pit stop. That is going to put him, unless he puts in an absolutely stonking outlap, which he may not do here, because he's going to come out behind Magnussen, behind Gasly, and possibly, indeed he is, behind Fernando Alonso. So that 7-second stop, that's another 5 seconds. That's going to put him possibly behind the 2 Ferraris. Hamilton told 1.2 to the fronts, and then asked, is the car broken or just... and they just said it's underbalanced by the look of it. So Lewis thought the car was broken. That's how much he's struggling out there. But George Russell, if Ferrari have got the sense now, they'll bring their drivers in, because overtaking is tough here. And you think Piastri as well. Let's have a look at this stop again. So Russell comes in, all fine at this point. He's just driving down the pit lane, pulls into his pit box nicely. He's not overshot or anything. And it's the right rear. Doesn't even cut. He just doesn't want to come off. Doesn't want to come off. Eventually does. The mechanic gets it on. It's a 7-second stop. That is a big moment. Max Verstappen 124.8, Norris a 124.6, so Norris now starting to pick up the pace. Are we getting close to more pit stops? Surely, unless Ferrari and Piastri and Co are thinking he's in traffic now, so nothing to worry about, and pit when he clears it. But that's a shame for George Russell. He's had some really good pace this weekend. Surprisingly so, actually. I know it's a bit cooler, but I wasn't expecting McLaren to be quite as in the mix as they were. And Piastri, by the way, has been released and is now quicker than Max Verstappen up front, and only a tenth of his teammate, and did the purple first sector. So he is rapid here. As it stands at the moment, it'd be a 42-point gap if my maths is right there, which isn't enough for McLaren to steal the Constructors' title. It'll be as good as, but it won't quite be there. They need at least 44. I would say 45 to be sure. In comes Bottas. Come on, Sauber. Let's not mess about here. Let's get it right. It's a good stop. Use set of softs. He's slow away though. Bottas will seem to be 2.4 seconds. Looked a bit slow away, but it might have been the camera angle. But yeah, use set of softs. Hards, I assume, just put through a heat cycle. Looks like it. So there we go. Bottas has pitted. All went well. He's going to try and undercut maybe his teammate. Possibly get a shot at Alonso here. Frustration for Mercedes. What a shame for George Russell, like I say. Oh, that is a shame. A real shame. Damn. Leclerc, though, is matching Piastri, so 1.8 seconds between them. So the pace just starting now to come back to the Ferraris. They need really they need to get Piastri, both of them do, and it's not going to happen, but they could do with really catching Lando Norris if they want any shot at this Constructors in Abu Dhabi. Of course, you know, as long as it's not mathematically decided, anything can happen, but it'll be tough at Abu Dhabi to turn it around if the gap is 42 points come the end of the day. So needs something here. Lumpsum says Mercedes G's. Ryan says it's crazy how he first placed a driver for a drinks manufacturer. Do you know, the whole Red Bull story is bonkers when you think about it. Not just from Formula 1, you know, the football teams they own and everything else they do. It's a brand, isn't it? It's not even it's not really even an energy drinks company, you could argue. It's just a brand. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, but they bought the energy drink from somebody else, didn't they? And then just stuck their brand on it and off they went. And they've never looked back. It's kind of impressive. Red Bull, when it first came to F1, they were the disruptor. They were the cool, edgy young kids on the block, and they were their face doesn't fit, and oh god, they're too excitable. Why is Darth Vader in the paddock? But they've become, what are they now? 4, 5, 6 times Constructors Champions, 8 drivers' titles. Not bad, is it? A marketing company that happens to sell drinks. Yeah, exactly. Amazing, really. Well, not amazing, but it's amazing what they've done, I guess. Norris is closing in on Verstappen. Like I say, fastest lap last time again, 24.5, 1.7 seconds the gap. Perez now 2.4. The car is slowly beginning to turn, but not much, says Hamilton. So I was just going to say, Hamilton looks to have started to sort of close the gap on Perez, a 10th quicker on the last lap, 2.2 seconds, as George Russell now is stuck behind Alonso. Alonso is, well, he's going to be stuck behind him for the rest of this lap, isn't he, unless he throws it in there. But this is frustrating for George Russell. His race has turned on a bad pit stop. A very bad pit stop, 7 seconds, like I say. So Piastri here looking like he's going to have to fend off some Ferraris, although 0.2 quicker than Leclerc on the last lap, so should be okay there. Sainz losing pace, says lump sum, question mark. 25.1, not too bad. Only a 10th. The car's just not turning, says Russell on the radio, so he's not happy on those tyres initially. But yeah, no, Sainz's pace is okay. A 10th slower, in fact, less than a 10th slower than Leclerc, about 31 thousandths. So we'll see what happens this time across the line. Leclerc 24.749, 24.859 for Sainz. He's okay. Excuse me. Slower than his teammate, but not losing crazy pace. So all good. Don't worry, it's all good. It's all good for Carlos Sainz. He'll be fine. I've just got jinxed now, haven't I? But yeah, Russell's pace, just to give you an idea here. The leaders 24.7, 24.8, critically really. 24.7 for Piastri, 24.7 for Leclerc, and 24.8 for Sainz. George Russell, a 26.1. That's the time he's losing, plus the 7 seconds. He's got DRS. I think he's going to have to send this, but he can't get through. So just can't quite, not even with DRS. Fernando Alonso still ahead. This is costing George Russell. I would argue he's definitely lost to the Ferraris now. What's the gap roughly? 9.26. Yeah, he's in trouble. 28, 30 seconds nearly back there. So he's going to have to do something special here, I think. But yeah, blimey. Magnussen just pitted, 2.9 second stop, so a little bit slower than he'd like. Watching Lewis Hamilton now on board. He's going to get wide, isn't he? As we see through the, yep. Oh, back end right out there. Was he in the gravel at the end? I think he was. Yeah, back end, yeah, into the gravel. Well held. Keeps going. So that car was a bit of a handful under for Lewis Hamilton, but then George Russell now struggling with turning in. So not great for Mercedes at the moment. Just to let you know as well, by the way, Tsunoda and Magnussen at turn 1 was reviewed. No further investigation. I missed that earlier. That was ages ago. About 20 minutes. So sorry about that one. That was reviewed, but no investigation necessary. So, or no further investigation, sorry. Are the gravel tracks helping track limits? They are indeed. We've only had 4 infringements. Piastri had that moment. Alonso, Magnussen, and Gasly at the moment. So no major track limits at the moment. So it's kind of like it's sort of almost like the elegant solution to the problem. But here goes Russell. Surely this time has got to have a go at Fernando Alonso into turn 1, but no. Alonso shuts the door, and Russell thinks better of it. Game over there. This is big. That's a 25.8 for Russell last lap. To let's say Sainz 7/10 quicker. Leclerc and Piastri a second and just over a second. This is bad news for Russell here. 26 behind Perez, so that will be tight if he can't pass in 1 or 2 laps. That's another good shout. Yeah. Where is Perez? Yeah, he's more than that, isn't it? Perez 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. No, it's about 20 seconds. You're right. Sorry. Yeah, I was counting Perez's time in that for some reason. I like to add this. We've got a double yellow out there. We've got an incident. Is it Verstappen? I don't want to get people nervous there, but Verstappen has lost a lot of time. So I don't know what's happened there. The yellow flags are still out there. Is it a problem with there's a bit of debris there. Sorry, but no, Verstappen just seemed to be really slow through that corner then. They got a bit nervous there. It's debris on the... I said nervous. Excitable. Not because I want him out, just because I thought something was going to happen. Yeah, because Norris seemed to close in there, but it was just, I think, just the concertina effect. But there is some debris on the start-finish straight. Will they need a virtual safety car here? Because, obviously, George Russell's going to have to try and have a go. So he goes offline. With that, you're risking a driver running over that, and you don't want punctures there. So 29 seconds of the pit lane, says Irene. Yep, absolutely. I think last year was 27 to 29 or 28 to 29, mostly. Yeah. Norris said already, speak louder to the engineer. So the engineer got his megaphone out and screamed. It didn't look like it from the timings. No, I was just watching him on the track map, and it was just a concertina thing. It obviously was. He's fine now. He was absolutely fine. It's because he went through there, then the yellow flag came out, and then obviously he brakes for turn one. Then Norris obviously then closes up, doesn't he? So I thought, oh no, what's happened? But all okay. No worries there for Verstappen. We got Ferrari in the pits for somebody. No, they were maybe preempting a virtual safety car or trying to force Piastri's hand, who, I mean, that'd be interesting because Leclerc isn't really in the undercut zone. Watching F1 for first time, so is the times all in minutes or seconds? Says Asma. Thank you. Good question. Yes, they are all in seconds. 1 minute 25. So your last lap is all in minutes. Obviously, 1 minute 25 seconds. Everything else is seconds. Just so you know, and welcome, by the way. Good to have you on board. Always nice seeing you fans watching the sport. So if you get addicted, don't blame us. It's not our fault. I got addicted a long time ago. A lot of people did as well. So so minutes and seconds for the last lap. The rest is all seconds at that point. So Verstappen asking to see if Norris did lift for the yellow. So the games are starting. The games are starting. Verstappen, just saying there, make sure he's slowed for the yellow. Fastest lap of the race, 24.4. 1.6 seconds between the leaders. 24.4 for Verstappen, 24.7 for Norris. So there we go. The pace was okay in the end. And again, Ferrari, they're trying to bluff somebody into a stop here, aren't they? Unless they are just trying to be ready for a virtual safety car. But it didn't work the first time, lads. It's not going to work the second. Jonathan says, you got me addicted, Sean. Love from the Lone Star State. Hey, Jonathan. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's an expensive hobby as well, isn't it? So, I hope you're okay, Jonathan. Having a good day. Enjoying the race. Not a great one for Hamilton at the moment, is it? But hopefully that will come back to him a little bit later. So, we'll see. Perez having a decent race. I mean, he is 10.9, 11 seconds off Carlos Sainz, but he is also 6th place. So, you know, credit where credit is due, I suppose. But I mean, his pace isn't. It's not diabolical. I mean, it's 8 seconds slower than his team. 8/10, slower than his teammate. 8 seconds would be. Yes, Casper, he did pit. Russell did pit. 7-second stop though. Slow on the right rear coming off, so it cost him quite a lot of time. And we think that he's lost out. Well, we're pretty sure he's lost out to Piastri, Leclerc, and Sainz. Probably Perez as well now, because would it be another half a second, isn't it? Yeah, no, he's not got the pace. He's stuck behind Alonso, can't get through. Russell's race has been destroyed by that pit stop completely. Oh, George, blimey. Leclerc, I stopped thinking a long time ago, says the C Gaming for Leclerc. Yeah, it's about right. Decent race for Perez being a second off Max's pace. Poor guy's a bit broken at the minute. Yeah, I guess it's like I said yesterday. It's not as Norris is. What we're watching here, we're watching something fly off a car. This is lap 30. I don't know what we're watching here. We're watching something. Is it going to be Norris's wing mirror? Oh, they're trying to see if he's slow for the yellows. I see. Sorry. I was trying to listen to that then, but apparently he didn't lift according to Jensen Button there in comms, so whether I'll look at that, I don't know, but we shall see. Norris 2.3 seconds behind Verstappen. Verstappen has picked up the pace, 2/10 quicker on the last lap as well. Nico Hülkenberg is just on a purple middle sector. He has just pitted for a fresh set of medium tyres, so Hülkenberg, one to watch here, but we haven't had many pit stops. And although there was quite a lot of drama at the start, and there is some intrigue around some of these drivers and cars, as Verstappen does the fastest lap, let's put it this way. It ain't been a thriller. I'm just going to pause for a drink. There we go. I suppose the question is, were the yellows waving when Norris went through there, or was it a slippery surface flag? Because that was flashing as well, or was a stationary flag there. So, yeah. we'll see. We'll see what the stewards decide on that one. But yeah, we have got some debris on track. Maybe that's been cleared now. I don't know, or somebody's run over it and got rid of it. But Hulkenberg on the last lap, obviously that's an outlap 46.8. But he was perp in the middle sector, so keep an eye on him. We're watching here, Valtteri Bottas. Is this where the wind mirror came from, maybe? Bottas ran over it and smashed it into about 3 million pieces. So that's where it's gone. Oh, and this is Lewis Hamilton with sparks from the back of the car. That's a left front puncture for Lewis Hamilton. Has he hit that debris that's scattered around the track? It is a puncture for Hamilton. Sorry, Jonathan. And puncture as well for Sainz, I think. Sainz is slow. What's happened to Carlos Sainz? Has that debris? I think Sainz has got a puncture as well. So the tyres are going here. So this is where it's getting... I think Hamilton just said on the radio, just our look here. Yes, it is a puncture on the left front as well. So it's 2 left front punctures, one for Lewis Hamilton and one for Carlos Sainz. Is it the wing mirror? Is it the curbs? Is it just the fact this place is an absolute killer for tyres? And Piastri pits. So probably a good idea to get rid of those tyres, but if either of those drivers stop on track, that might be the wrong time for Piastri, but a 3.3 second stop, not the best, but a good idea to get rid of those tyres. But yes, we have got drama on lap 35, or I suppose officially lap 34, as Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton both cruise around with punctures to the left front. Interesting that it's the same tyre on both cars. What damage have they done? Verstappen being told to box as well, so it looks now as though teams are deciding the best thing to do. They're going to change the front wing as well, are they? No, they're not. I thought they were, but they weren't. They just need to lift the car back up again. But it looks like the teams have just decided it is time to get rid of these tyres. You know, as Tommy just said, 35 laps on the mediums. That could be part of the reason, but there was that debris on the start-finish track, on the start-finish straight, sorry, in the middle of the track that Bottas then ran over, and the safety car has been deployed. They are going to clean the track up. I just said, didn't I? If they bring out a safety car, that's going to screw Oscar Piastri for pitting at that point. Verstappen is going to pit under the safety car. So that's good timing for him. I assume Norris will just follow him in. He does indeed. But yes, so, oh dear. Zhou's up into 9th, yet to stop. So this is good timing here. 5-second penalty, sorry, for Lewis Hamilton as well, of course. He served that one and goes out with that damage. So actually, terrible for Lewis Hamilton, but the safety car caused by that debris, it's not going to save his race too much, but it could have been worse. Not sure how. He's down in 16th place and exits ahead of, a lap down, of course, on Norris, wouldn't he? Yes, so that'll be why. But Leclerc in as well, gets rid of those tyres. So actually... the debris brought the race to life because of a couple of punctures, and it's brought the safety car out, but it also means everyone's going to stop under the safety car, so that's strategy out the window. So hopefully, when we get a restart, we get some overtaking in action, otherwise we just lost the only thing that might have spiced this up a bit more. It's not, I wouldn't say it's boring. It's certainly not boring. There's been a few bits going on, particularly sort of further down the field, some good scraps and a bit of overtaking, but now we've got some drama as well. We have the drama at the start, of course, if you missed all of that, with Hulkenberg losing his car and taking out Colapinto and Esteban Ocon, or hit Ocon then into Colapinto. Stroll hit Albon, got a penalty, then served that penalty and retired his car. We have Bottas and Lawson in a spin, or Lawson spin, Bottas off track after contact. So yes, there is where's Zhou? He's in the pits, so Sauber have reacted to that. Where will he rejoin? So we're watching Zhou Guanyu. I think we're all doing this. We're all doing this, aren't we? For Pascal, we're all sat here hoping and praying for him. This goes well. So Zhou comes in. Hopefully the stop's okay. Stop is fine. Zhou Guanyu here is going to rejoin. If he floors it to the safety car line, Zhou Guanyu will rejoin ahead of... because Tsunoda and Co have pitted. So Zhou's 10th outright on track. Zhou Guanyu is 10th after the pit stops. There you go. That's why you hang out for a safety car. Well done, Zhou Guanyu. Long way to go still in this race. We're lap 36 of 57, so things can happen. But I'm just, I assume then, chat, our assumption, so I'm assuming that the assumption is that was debris that's caused the punctures there rather than track. Lawson just had a 14-second stop. Did they safety car through the pit lane as well? So I wonder if Lawson's got caught behind Tsunoda as they double stacked at RB maybe. But surely it was debris. But that's the sort, I mean, could they not have thrown a virtual safety? I mean, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but could they have not thrown a safety car, virtual safety car, a few laps before that? Russell says, why have we put the hards on? Why have we put the flipping hards back on? They are not very good, is what George Russell has said over the radio. I've changed a couple of words there. You can work out which ones. So he's not happy with the hard tyre. Bottas is boxing and he's going to change to mediums. He is currently 17th. I'm not sure why he's 17th. So he was the one that hit the debris, you see. So he comes across and then hits the wing mirror. Oh, it was to let Leclerc through. He was being lapped. That's why he's gone across there. And then Hamilton's, I assume, is just going to run over the debris. And then that's where it is. I mean, maybe coincidence, but the tyre looks like it starts to go after he runs. Oh, no, it doesn't. Maybe that's just the way the camera works there. I don't know. I'm just watching the left fronts here. They do. The left front on Sainz's car, yeah, starts to go pretty much as soon as it must be the debris then. Yeah. Again, you know, it's all right with hindsight, but I just wonder if they could have just put the virtual safety car out and pulled that off track. Someone's just asked in chat, I've only just noticed actually, so thank you very much, Michael Brandon says, did Gasly pit? Pierre Gasly is just exited the pit lane in P6. P6. This, and there's Zhou going into 9th place as Alonso stops. So Zhou's up to 9th. Gasly is P6. That 6th place for Gasly could be enormous with Magnussen currently outside of the points, and only just outside the points, and Hulkenberg outside the points, and neither of the RBs scoring. We could be getting another swing in that thrilling battle for 6th place in the Constructors. 12, 22, 33, 43, 50. So you look, yeah, it's not far off enough for McLaren. They're going to need a bit more than that, though. With Ferraris down in 8th, and 3rd and 8th. But, yeah, it wouldn't be enough yet for the Constructors. So he's still asking about the yellow flag, Max Verstappen, on Norris. So, but yeah, back to the point. Again, I'll say it again just for anybody who missed it. But obviously, again, with the benefit of hindsight, looking at punctures for drivers, it's easy to sit here and say, should the race director have put a virtual safety car out so that could be recovered? But I kind of feel like that's not even... Whoa, Alonso and the Haas. Is that Magnussen side by side? It is. They're racing in the pits. What's Magnussen going to say? Magnussen doesn't seem very happy on the radio, but I think Alonso, so this could be something that's looked at. They are side by side, and Alonso is just going to nip through on pit exit. There we go. So that could be important. But yeah, no, I just think, is that a hindsight thing, or is that something that just, and Norris having to really lock up his front tyres there. I think it was Norris. Yes, it was, to slow down the pit lane. But I feel like surely common sense would say, throw the virtual safety car, but it's not an easy place to recover it though from, is there? Because you've got the pit wall there, so that's not easy to hop over. There's probably a lot of things that stopped him doing that. Maybe he thought it was safe where it was, but that's heading into an overtaking zone, so I feel like that could have been avoided. But then again, I don't have all the information that race control have. They might be able to say, look, we can't recover it from there because of where it is on the track, but then maybe we just need a safety car. But it's put Sainz down in 8th place. It's ruined Hamilton's already frustrating race down in 16th place now. They're all coming through. I just realised, sorry, I've been really, really stupid, and I know that will not surprise many people. I said Gasly has just exited the pits in P6. Of course he's exited the pits in P6. They're all going through the pit lane. So I just thought Gasly's pitted again there, but he hadn't. They're all going through. Lap cars may now overtake car 44 and car 77. That's the message that I didn't and yeah, so Hamilton seemed to slow quite a bit, and that caused Norris to slam the brakes on and lock things up. Not laughing at Hamilton being lapped, just laughing at the lapped cars may now overtake, and then car 44 being there. If you know, you know. Simple as that. I'm sure Hamilton fans are not laughing about it yet, but there you go. Why did Max get a penalty, says Addy? Because he was, I don't know the word dawdling because it's the wrong word, but he was on the racing line in qualifying. Even though George wasn't on a fast lap, the race director felt that was driving unnecessarily slowly, and so he got a 1-place penalty. That's why. Jonathan says lap cars may now overtake PTSD moment, and no, I am not sure. So not laughing, definitely not. Does the pit counter go up? Yes, it does. It goes up every time they go through the pits. So officially, it's a one stop for most cars. This is going to make later in the reaction fun, isn't it? But at the moment, they've all pitted 3 times. But apart from Hulkenberg, who's done 4. So we'll just do whatever it is -2. So it's 1 stop for Verstappen. I'll have to do maths throughout the whole final stream. Kevin says, cheers to F1 Multiview. I have 4 monitors going. I know. I've got 3, Kevin, and then the TV as well. But I'm gonna have to get a 4th one if we're going to do these full time next year again. Because I could just do with another one for a bit more data, and I can't fit it anywhere else because I've got your chat and I've got the YouTube studio and then everything that I need for multi-view and then everything I need for streaming. So I could just do one more. I have got one in the spare room, but I might use the excuse to buy a new one. This would, by the way, this result for Gasly be 8 points and put Alpine 5 clear of Haas in the battle for P6. Safety car is ending. So here we go. We're getting a restart now. I'm going to have a quick slug of drink. I'll mute the mic so I don't gulp in your ear again. Apologies. But yes, your battles to watch. The Constructors title, of course. The fight for the win. Verstappen versus Norris. But also, can Gasly hang on to P6? And what will be a huge swing in that battle for 6th place in the Constructors. Here we go. Deep breath. Verstappen still right behind the safety car, so we're not backing off just yet. He went just between 15 and 16, didn't he, last time? So maybe that's what we'll get again. Might try something different this time. Hamilton and Bottas 50 seconds behind everyone else, says Michael. They are right. They will catch them surely before the green flag. Surely. Sprint race to the end, says Freeze. It is basically, isn't it? So this could be fun. Hopefully no more punctures. Now he's starting to back people with Verstappen as they come through turn 13. So we shall see now if Hamilton should catch Lawson because they're all slow around there, aren't they? So they've still got to stick to a Delta, I believe, under the safety car in that situation, Hamilton and Bottas, but they can drive a bit quicker than those in the pack, so they should catch up. But Verstappen's going to go very, very soon, you know. So actually, I think that... Perez is... Has Perez stopped on track? According to the timing, Perez has just dropped like a stone. I think Perez has stopped. We are green. As maybe his transponder's gone. Let's see if we see him on the track. So there's Verstappen's going to get caught out here. Sorry, we're going to see this one. So here comes Verstappen now. He's got Checo's not there. So Verstappen's got Norris side by side. They're nearly banging wheels in the straight here as they go down into turn 1. Norris has the outside, Verstappen on the inside, and they just run him out, and that's Gasly locking up and going wide. That's going to cost him so much time and his tyres as well. And then Leclerc is fending off Oscar Piastri. Albon's up to 10th place as well in the Williams, but it was side by side battling between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, and Piastri and Leclerc are still side by side. How is Russell still in this in 5th place? How's he recovered that one? Thanks to safety car, I suppose. But he's got a great scrap going on with Carlos Sainz here. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. That was a side by side I want to see again. I think we have somebody run out there. But Sergio Perez is crawling around the track according to the track map, and he is not in. I can't see him in the picture, so that's not a transponder issue. He's slow. You guys saying he's spun, so we'll see what happens. But Perez is. We're watching a replay now of Perez. Says I lost the drive, so he has lost. It is a mechanical problem for Perez, and then he did spin as well, so he lost drive and then the car spun. Do you remember? And that's a virtual safety car. Do you remember Bahrain 22 when the engine just? Oh, and that's Hulkenberg in the gravel as well. That might be a full safety car then again. It's all kicking off. Whew. So Perez has now definitely stopped on track. So he did spin, but he spun because he lost drive. And I was just going to say, safety car deployed. If you remember back to Bahrain as an example, 2022, with Perez, sort of his engine stopped and the car spun, didn't it? And that's maybe what's happened there again. So Perez is out through my assumption is no fault of his own there if he's lost drive. We have a safety car because Hulkenberg's in the gravel, but Gasly had a massive lockup into turn 1 and went wide at the restart, which could be why so his tyres could be a bit of a mess there, but he did hold on to P6. But I want to see that battle between Norris and Verstappen. I think we had one of those I'm going to run you out wide moments that winds people up so much, so that'll be fun. But that looked like good, clean, hard racing to me. But yeah, brutal for Checo, says Nick the Greek. Having a better Sunday than he's had for a while, much better Sunday than he's had for a while, and the 2 RBs are in the pits. We're down to 50 runners in this race. What a strange race. We'll talk about that in a second. So they are double stacking the RBs. I'm guessing for some nice fresh it's soft tyres. Oh, the RBs have seen Gasly up there in 6th place, and they've got to stuck some softs on Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson. This is going to get spicy. Yeah, I was just going to say, what a strange race. Really dramatic at the start, then nothing for a while, then the drama with the punctures, then nothing for a lap, and then it all sort of kicked off again. No, I'm joking, of course, nothing for a lap. It was all drama, wasn't it? But watching Checo's steering wheel here on the replay, yeah, switches off and round he goes. He says, it doesn't switch off at all. Sorry, it's just this. I'm looking at the wrong thing. He says, beep. That was strange. So here's a replay of the restart then. So Norris heads to the outside of turn 1. Verstappen has got the inside covered, obviously. So he's got the position there. They are. Oh, is there a bang of wheels there? I want an onboard. That looked like a bump of wheels between the two. They nearly touched on the straight actually at one point. So it looked hard but fair, is what I would say there. Lots will disagree, I'm sure, but they'll not say about Leclerc. They're doing very similar to Piastri. And look at Russell here having to go at Gasly. So Gasly, now then, hang on. Is this why Gasly... So Gasly locks up and then goes off track and loses a place to George Russell. So, yeah, he was battling with Russell into that corner. So he is still 6th, Gasly, but that was a bit dramatic. So, I would say hard but fair there between Verstappen and Norris. But I feel like, I tell you what, Leclerc and Piastri, if they didn't touch, they all but touched. That was pretty close on the run to turn 4. So we're going to watch that again now. So both the McLarens going for the car in front around the outside. I'm watching in front, no offence to Piastri and Leclerc. Oh, no, they didn't quite touch, I don't think, Verstappen and Norris there. That looked a bit... Yeah, so watching Piastri and Leclerc squabbling, changed position between them a couple of times there. Still side by side, and then Leclerc, I'm guessing, is just going to run him wide in 3, does indeed. And they're so close. That is such good racing between Verstappen and Norris and Leclerc and Piastri. Lovely stuff. And Sainz had a massive twitch as well, and Gasly went sweeping through. So that's why he's still 6th, because Sainz made a mistake after Russell had got past him. So safety car in this up. What happened to Hulkenberg? Thank you, director. Here we go. He just loses it. Is that turn 12, 13, 14, somewhere around there? No, he just loses it himself, completely all by himself. Tyres not working. Button just said it there. I just heard it in my ear. Not in the tyres not in their working range. So that's a strange one for Hulkenberg. But we are going green again. Goodness me. Incident involving car 4. That's Nando Norris failing to slow under yellow flags under investigation. Yikes. Right then. So, are we ready for another one? Lewis Hamilton on Team Radio. What position am I in? You're 12th, Lewis. You're still in this for points. He says the car is messed up, mate. It's kind of the narrative of Lewis Hamilton's weekend, isn't it? Before we get going, please do drop a like, by the way. 1,000 of you here. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do drop a like. Let's get that as high as we can. And subscribe as well. Thank you to... is it Bookizia, to Aldo and to Kugata for subscribing. Thank you so much. Please do sub. I'll do some shout outs a little bit later as well if we get the opportunity to. And please do drop a like as well. Lots to come. We'll be live shortly after the race with the race reaction. Then, of course, we've got the qualifying and race watch-alongs next weekend and the preview on Thursday. So make sure you tune in. We are green, and Max Verstappen has bolted in Qatar. The safety car has gone. We are going. It's a much better start this time. In fact, I'll tell you what, Lando Norris here might be under threat from Charles Leclerc. this could be massive. Charles Leclerc has got the toe. Norris is not anywhere near Verstappen. He's having to go defensive into turn one. Leclerc to the outside of Norris. He's not going to get round there, though. Norris covered that nicely. But Leclerc looking racy at the restart, and Piastri now right on the back of Leclerc. So it didn't quite work out for Charles. Albon is 10th. Hamilton down to 13th as Bottas moves into 12th. Zhou Guanyu is still 9th. But heads up, Alex Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Liam Lawson all on the soft tyre. Hamilton is dropping like a stone here. Is he struggling to get those tyres in the window? He's just lost to Bottas and Tsunoda. Lawson is right in the back of him as well. We'll keep an eye on that. But at the moment, Max Verstappen has the lead. He is out front, 8/10 clear of Norris. Then it's Leclerc, Piastri, Russell, Gasly. Then we've got Sainz and Alonso and Zhou and Albon sweeping through there. So there's going to be some pace from those on the soft tyres. Will they hang on to the end, though? We saw in F2. We saw yesterday in the sprint with Zhou. They didn't hang on very long, did they? So hopefully... for Albon's sake and Tsunoda and co, all should be okay there. Check the front left. I can see sparks coming from it, and I have a vibration, says Piastri. So have we got puncture issues again? Is this a feature of the Qatar track? So he says he's got sparks coming from it. Looking at the picture-in-picture, I can't see anything. It's quite a small image. It looks like Russell kicks up some dirt there on the exit of turn 14. I'll apologise to have all weekend for my struggling with the corner numbers. I don't know the track very well at all. It's obviously only the third time here and first time I've done a watch-along for it, so I keep getting muddled with, and they all look very similar as well when you're watching them fly through some of them. So I can tell you when there's a left-hander or a right-hander. That's about as far as I can go. But we'll see what the softs can do. Bottas is proper racy, right on the back of Kevin Magnussen here. Whatever Hamilton was struggling with, he seems to have sorted that now. Piastri, everything looks okay with the tyre, he is told by his engineer, so all good for Oscar Piastri, but he's 4th at the moment. DRS is enabled. Luca wants to know what happened to Perez. I'll tell you in just a second. Stop-go penalty, a 10-second stop-go penalty for Lando Norris for failing to slow under yellow flags. That is massive. When was the last time we saw a stop-go penalty? Oh, retro. Oh, Albon hit Magnussen there. Understeered into him at the first corner, so that might be trouble for Albon. He does understeer. Yeah, he does into him, so that's a 10-second penalty. Stop, go. Albon just rammed me, says Kevin Magnussen. How dramatic. I love it. So, yes, Norris here is in big trouble. That is well, he's got 3 laps now, hasn't he, for failing to slow under yellow flags. He's got stop-go penalties. He's got 3 laps to serve that, so he needs to get on with it. So lap 44, so 3 laps from when he got it, and then he'll have to serve that. So that's a huge penalty. But at the same time, I've got to say, as he gets very close to the back of Max Verstappen, I'm actually... And if Jonty's around, he'll tell me, he might agree, he might disagree. I'm actually sort of glad that the stewards are taking that seriously. You do not speed under yellow flags under any circumstances. And so, whilst that is a massive penalty, and some might argue too harsh, I think it's good that they're taking that seriously. Can you remember Baku a couple of years ago? When Max was, 2021, wasn't it? Max got his puncture and people went speeding past him, and the stewards, the answer from Michael Massey was effectively, well, everyone was doing it, so you'd have to give everyone a penalty. Well, then give everyone a penalty. So there we go. Stop-go penalty. Must serve that within 2 laps now. So a hard one for Norris there. Leave it. But it's still, it's you can't speed under yellows. It's a big no-no. So, wow. But I've taken back there. Stop. When was the last time? I'm giving you... Hamilton's been noted for speeding in the pit lane. Rui Marquez is having a very busy weekend, and so are his stewards, Gary Connolly and co. Norris has been given a 10-second stop-go penalty, and he says... nothing. I'm guessing he's just going to be like... And he pits now, so he's pitted for his stop-go penalty. So nowadays, they, of course, stop in their own box. Back in day, for those who are new to Formula 1, back in the day, drivers would have to drive to the end of the pit lane, pull up at a point at the end of the pit lane for penalties, and then they'd have to wait there for 10 seconds before they're allowed to go, whereas now they have to stop in their own box these days. So that's a big drop for... So Zhou Guanyu's up to 8th. I fainted. I don't know what Pascal is doing right now, apart from popping the champagne. We've got a while to go yet, mate. Don't you worry. I won't stop talking about Pascal today. He's going to be over the moon on the stream later if he can pull this off. But Norris drops down to 15th and last place. Not a shock, given all the safety cars. But that's a big moment, that, actually, because that puts... What's Norris said on the radio? For what? Failing to slow under yellow flags is what he's told, obviously. And he says, oh, well, fine and dandy. No, he doesn't really. No response that was broadcastable, I assume. But yeah, that's quite big because that's put Leclerc second ahead of Piastri. So Leclerc 3 points better off. And of course, Sainz is picking up 8 points for 6. So Ferrari here might, if Sainz can deal with Gasly here, might be pulling themselves back into play for a... Listen to me try not to get excited for a title for 638 place 619 as it stands in the constructors. I wouldn't say that's absolutely game on, but that's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be coming into this weekend. After this weekend, when we started it, I thought there's no way, particularly after the sprint. We've got lots of puns. Of course, joints is the new one from Dell. But Michael says, you've got to be joking. Hey, I love a pun and a joke. I love a pun. Good stuff. Joe on the radio, probably told us to keep it calm. He's swearing and pushing is what he's doing. Yeah, we'll do drive of the day in the race reaction, so make sure you pop along for that one. But yeah, I do love a good pun. Why not? I did one last week, and a lot of you didn't get it. I was kind of gutted. Drive-through penalty for car 44. That's Lewis Hamilton for speeding in the bloody pit lane. Goodness me. We're getting proper old school with the penalties this weekend, aren't we? Oh dear, that should improve Lewis Hamilton's mood. What we're watching, what's happening on track? So here goes, it's all happening in the stewards' room. So Magnussen around the outside there of Albon. I suspect. Oh no, this isn't a replay. That's the thing. They are looking at Albon versus Magnussen for forcing another driver off the track. To be honest, I think they need to be looking at the Albon one for the collision. To be honest. We'll see. But yeah, Magnussen shoved off track there by Albon a little bit, so we'll see what they do there. That's been noted by race control. I've lost track of the penalties. Let me see if I find the penalty thing. Bear with. If you watch Miranda, that's where I keep doing that. Bear with. Let's have a look at the investigations tracker. It's going to be... Good God, that's a mess. Let's have a look. So we've got penalties today... For Hamilton got a 5-second penalty for a false start and a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane. Kevin Magnussen has been involved in 4 investigations for one reason or another. Norris has had a 10-second stop-go penalty for failing slow under yellow flags. Lance Stroll got 10 seconds for causing a collision. Penalty of 10 seconds for Liam Lawson for causing a collision as well. And just loads of investigations and noted going on there. Hamilton was involved in 6 separate incidents for one reason or another. Not all his fault, of course, because they all get tagged in that as they get investigated. So a busy day for the stewards. Yinka says, picked a nice race for a watch-along. It's all drama, but it's actually... What's dramatic, most of the battle has been at the back, really, or in the midfield. So Max Verstappen hasn't been totally in control, I wouldn't say, because Norris had to go a couple of times, but had to cope with the restarts. But he's been pretty... Well, he's led it, hasn't he? Or pretty much all the way. So, Leclerc 4.1 seconds back, Piastri 1.1 behind Leclerc. So we've got, 9 laps to go now? Something like that. So Norris just at the fastest up the race on a 1:22.936. Perez has been noted for a turn 14 incident, rejoining unsafely after, of course, his car failed on him earlier and pitched him into that spin. So they feel that was unfair. Hamilton's going to box to retire the car. That's going to put us down to 14 runners. I said, whoa, Magnussen nicely around the outside there of Alex Albon into turn 1 for what will be P9. Can he catch Zhou? This is big for Haas, this. They'll want the points because Gasly's up in 5th place, but Zhou Guanyu is on for 4 points here. If it's not at all, is it? It's 6. No, it's 4. I guess the back end of the top 10. We've had this point system for, 14, 15 years, and I still get it wrong after about P5. But yes, so Alonso on the medium tyres. He's going nicely in 7th as well, actually. Some good points there for Alonso. Someone said at the start they fancied Alonso for points today. So there we go. P7 at the moment. I'm just going to refresh my stream quickly so I don't end up with being too far behind on you guys. Thank you as well to everyone who has subscribed so far. Please do drop a like and subscribe as well if you are new. Live shortly after the race for the race reaction, and of course preview on Thursday, qualifying watch along on Saturday for Abu Dhabi, and race watch along on Sunday, as well as the race reaction. So please do drop a like and sub. We're trying to hit a target with subs, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, and views and likes for the end of the season. So if we could do that, that would be absolutely amazing. So likes, subs, views, shares, all of that, please do. And and it's greatly appreciated as always. But I'm saying that now because I think we have to focus on these last few laps rather than worrying about that one. So they're also going to investigate Albon and Magnussen for causing a collision. So that's where Albon sort of understeered into him. Miguel wants to know what happened to Perez. Perez is... his car sort of cut. Well, he said he lost his drive in the car, and then the car was pitched into a spin. Whether the two were connected, I'm not sure. It sounded a little bit like it on the audio that I can hear. I can't really hear it all at the moment, but it was a mechanical problem which ultimately resulted in spinning and retiring the car. So it's a shame actually, because to be honest, Miguel, he was going quite well up to that point. He was up in 5th or 6th place. So was scoring, looking good for some points. It was his best Sunday for quite a while, it felt like. Seemed to have some good pace on those behind, but not really anywhere near those ahead. But it was still something he could have done for a confidence boost, and then the car let him down. So shame for Checo, but it never rains but it pours. So I will repeat it. Magnussen just went round the outside of Albon and said, and I quote, apologies for the language, fuck off, and then drove off. I am going to miss him so much when he's gone at the end of this season. He's just so doesn't give a damn, does he? So there you go, K-Mag. Even if Joe fell to 10th, the next car after his is his teammate. That's a good point. It's a Sauber on for points, Michael. Like you say, almost guaranteed points. Guaranteed, we'll knock on wood. I don't like that one. That's asking for trouble, but yeah. This is, Bottas is a second behind Albon. I tell you what, actually, I don't know if Albon's got damage or if it is the soft tyre, because Albon is considerably slower. And actually, do you know what? Tsunoda and Lawson, the soft tyre is not working at all. Lawson 27.637 versus, let's say, Bottas on a 25.8. Tsunoda 27 flat versus 25.8. Albon 26.7 versus 25.8. The pace is not there in those soft tyres. Joe is a 10th quicker this lap, by the way, than Magnussen is 4.2 up the road. This is looking very good here. Wow. Goodness me. So I'm trying to work out what's happening now at track, because it's all a bit, we're looking at the constructors battles and things like that now, and who's doing what. Watching Piastri again, a lot of drivers have been doing that this weekend, just getting wide, but Piastri, every time we cut to him, he seems to have done something like that, but just clipping the gravel, didn't lose too much time. But Zach Brown, what a difference less than 24 hours makes, eh? 1-2 in the sprint yesterday. Norris felt comfortable enough swapping the positions on the line, and then we've got Piastri third and Norris after his drive-through penalty down in 13th place. Bottas is right on the back of Albon here. Double points for Sauber would be absolutely phenomenal. That'd be 5 points. They're not really I don't think Williams will worry too much about their 17 points gap, but it'll close things up a little bit. Here goes Norris on Yuki Tsunoda, I would assume, on the run to turn 1. The soft tyres are not working, are they, at all? Unless I've missed something, chat, but the lap times are so poor. I mean, Lawson's in the 28s versus Joe in the 24s. I tell you who is moving here, sorry. Fernando Alonso was 9/10 of a second quicker that lap than Carlos Sainz, and he's only 1.8 seconds behind. So that's something to keep an eye on here. Fernando Alonso is quick on those medium tyres. Purple first sector for Norris. He's got the space now as he chases down Valtteri Bottas. Where can Norris get to realistically? Probably Bottas and Albon, I think, are his chances here for points, aren't they? If he's going to get anything. I can't see him catching Magnussen. There's only about 6 laps left, so I don't think so. Vas Happening says what happened to Norris, actually. Norris got a 5-second stop-go penalty for failing to slow down for yellow flag, sorry. So that's a big penalty, but it's, a big safety issue as well. So that's why he's where he is. What's happened? So was this something happened to Carlos Sainz then? So Sainz here in 6th. His lap times have improved. Oh, that's why Alonso was so quick. He made a mistake on the exit of the final corner. Big swapper on, and then went wide, which is why Alonso was so much quicker. But on this last lap, Sainz did a 23.4 and Alonso back to a 24.1. So, and that's was that Bottas having a go at Albon there? Bottas is ahead of Albon and into 10th place, but Lando Norris could be about to spoil Valtteri's party here. I don't want Bottas to finish 23rd in the 23-car championship. 20-car championship, but we'll see. Liam Lawson here is on 2 track limit infringement. Sorry, I thought it was in 3. Gasly's on 3. I'm a little bit concerned here Gasly's on 3 track limit violations, so that's the black and white flag, isn't it, for him? So he just needs to be careful out there. Oh, well, I mean, this is, the Constructors Championship, Kevin will be really excited, is going to go down to the wire in Abu Dhabi as it stands, and if Lando Norris can nick a point off Bottas, it could be important. Vote for driver of the day. Vote closes in 3 laps time. Few to pick from today, but I think I know if it stays as it is, and absolutely, it seems to be going the way as well. I think we know who's going to get driver of the day in the chat later. We know who Pascal's picking, that's for sure. But yeah, Sainz's pace was fine in the end. It was just that mistake in the final corner. I just thought Alonso was flying on the mediums, although I mean he's not that far. He's 0.3 a lap slower. 10-second time penalty for car 23. That is Alex Albon for causing a collision. That's going to put him down to, I think, basically last place. Norris passes Bottas for P10. Boo. Was always going to happen, but still looking good for Sauber here. Zhou Guan Yu comfortably clear as it stands of Kevin Magnussen, and not really making any inroads. In fact, he's not into Alonso. Alonso's quicker, 4.8. He's got 5 seconds to Alonso and 5 seconds back to Magnussen. So Zhou just needs to bring this home with just a few laps to go. Oh, could you imagine the end of the season with that car and all the promise if McLaren win neither championship? That's not going to go down well at Woking, is it? That'll be frustrating for them. Definitely an opportunity missed. And if Ferrari win it, I don't know what I'll do. But I still think McLaren have got it. It's just going to be a bit closer than I think they wanted it to be in the season finale for sure. That'll be. I mean, either way. I think Perez's retirement probably ends Red Bull's shots. Sainz having a look at Gasly there, but Gasly shuts the door. I haven't done the maths yet. If anyone's got an opportunity to, feel free to let me know. But I don't think. I mean, it will keep. I think this will keep Red Bull mathematically in it. Will it? I'm not sure what the numbers are. As Norris sets the fastest lap of the race to get 2 points for McLaren, they could be important. 1 point for 10th and a point for the fastest lap. But I think Perez's retirement probably puts pay to that for Red Bull. Unfortunately. For them, of course. Pierre Gasly in sights. That's the fight at the moment. Leclerc seems to have enough over Piastri. Verstappen is 6 seconds clear of Leclerc. He should be okay. Bottas has lost a lap time, so he's okay though. Plenty of time. He's got this under control, Max, now, hasn't he? What's Norris doing? So he's 8 seconds behind Magnussen with 3 laps to go. I can't see that coming down, but he is rapidly quick. 2 seconds a lap quicker, so it's going to be... He's got a shot here, Norris, if he could just keep that kind of pace up. We'll soon find out. What we're watching here is, in fact, he might here be about to witness a mistake. Goes into turn 1. No, he's gone wide on the exit turn 1, so nothing too dramatic. It would have cost him a bit of time there on the gravel. For goodness sake, no investigation for Albon and Magnussen forcing a driver off the track. However, George Russell has been noted for a safety car infringement. What a bizarre race. How strange. It's all come to life, hasn't it? So, all very dramatic. But we're down to 15 runners, as I said earlier. The soft runners, they gave it a go. It's not really worked out. But this is it now. Lap time deleted as well for Lando Norris at turn 1, obviously. I think 2 laps to go. That mistake is probably... Yeah, he's not going to do it, is he? Albon's pitting for a reason. I'm not sure what they're going to go with here. So it looks like a pit stop for Albon. Are they going to go with a fresh set of softs and try and go for fastest lap for a bit of glory late on? Maybe. The soft hasn't worked today, so maybe not. I'm just going to wait and see if he does actually exit the pit lane or if he is retiring. He looks like he's not moving on the driver track or in the pit lane, is he? So I assume they are retiring. They are. Retire. Oh, no, they've got a penalty to serve. Sorry, I'm lying. They've got a penalty to serve. Take it now. Put the softs on, maybe. Go for a banzai final lap. We are on the final lap of the race. Max Verstappen. Safety car infringement, Marta, is under investigation for is George Russell. So we are on the final lap of the race. Somehow, the first part of that race really dragged, and then this has just flown by. Typical Formula 1. Carlos Sainz needs to have a go now if he's going to go for it. Ferrari could have done with that, but he's not. And Gasly here on for 10 very, very well-earned points and massive swing in the Constructors Championship. Thankfully for, as Norris sets another fastest lap, thankfully for Haas, Kevin Magnussen is going to pick up a couple of points. So that's going to keep them in the fight as we go to Abu Dhabi. I'll keep an eye on Albon. I'd be surprised. He's not going to get his lap in anyway, so it's not going to be fastest lap, is it? Because he's lapped. So he's already been passed by the leader. So if Verstappen crosses the line in a few corners' time, that'll be game over for Albon as well. So we are on the final lap of the race. Please do drop a like. Let's get over 200. You've got about 30 seconds and we need 40 likes. Go for it. I dare you. I dare you to prove me wrong. I can't see it happening, but you never know. Drop a like and subscribe if you're new as well. I'll do some shout outs when the race finishes. But Max Verstappen is coming through now to the final corner. Max Verstappen in the Red Bull over the line to win the Qatar Grand Prix. Max Verstappen pretty much after that restart there, no one could touch him. 6 seconds up the road from Charles Leclerc, who is second in the Ferrari, and Oscar Piastri third. We're going to get fourth place for George Russell over the line. 6 likes left and you might do it, guys. You might surprise me. Carlos, it's Pierre Gasly takes 5th place. 6th place for Carlos Sainz. A fantastic 7th for Fernando Alonso, but I want cheers as he comes across the line. Zhou Guanyu, 8th place for Sauber, and 4 World Championship points. Massive day for Sauber. It is 9th for Kevin Magnussen. It's 10th for Lando Norris. Great recovery, all things considered, and the fastest lap as well. The Constructors title fight goes down to the wire. Every single team has scored points in 2024. That's all I wanted. I can now go and hibernate for the winter, even though there's a race to go. Maybe not. Oh, what a bizarre race. I keep saying it. How strange. So there we go. Massive result there for Zhou Guanyu. He's going to win Driver of the Day, surely, with that one. You guys get followers of the day and viewers of the day. We did get to 200 likes. Well done, everybody. Didn't think you would, but you took the challenge and you ran with it, so thank you very much. Zhou Guanyu did get driver of the day with 29% of the vote. What a performance. I know only 15 finishers, but he and Bottas were in the mix through the whole weekend with their pace, and I did say watch them on Sunday. But the Constructors Championship now, there is not a lot between it. 21 points. I think, yes, 21 points between McLaren and Ferrari. That is going to be the story in Abu Dhabi. We've still got the fight for 6th as well. What a swing that is again for Alpine. What a final stint of the season they're having. But Max Verstappen is the winner of the Qatar Grand Prix. Didn't expect that this weekend. Just think back to the sprint. I said it yesterday. Whatever Red Bull had done between the sprint and Grand Prix qualifying, write it down, because it worked. Even Perez was doing all right today till his mechanical problems. And Max Verstappen takes the win. The fireworks in the air in Qatar. Great stuff. We'll do a few more minutes just to watch them all sort of get across the line and back into the pits, and then of course I'll go away and get ready for the reaction. So if you are disappearing, thank you so much for tuning in today. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to drop a like before you go and subscribe if you are new. We've still got all the streams next weekend. 5-second time penalty for George Russell for a safety car infringement. Thank you to Lionel and to is it Al for subscribing. You know who you are. Thank you so much. So please do drop a like and subscribe before you go, and I will be live in, let's say, an hour and a half from now-ish for the race reaction with Stuart, and then I'm going to go and lie down until I have to do the preview later in the week, because it's been a busy weekend. We've done 4 streams, 1 more still to go. You guys have been great all weekend. But yes, just to confirm that, a 5-second time penalty for George Russell for a safety car infringement. I'll run through the order in just a moment as well. But Max Verstappen pulls into his box to say, to celebrate his victory, of course. Good stuff that from Max Verstappen. Again, did not expect that after Friday. Didn't expect that coming to the weekend. Thought they'd be nowhere. Didn't expect it after. Kind of was vindicated in my thoughts on them struggling this weekend after Friday and first thing Saturday. But ever since they changed what they had to change for qualifying the race, he's absolutely been on it. And that is another win for Max Verstappen. And what a race it turned out to be in the end. A bit up and down. We'll go with that one, but we will talk about it. My name's Sean Michael. Thank you for asking. Hope you're all right, Michael. SEAN, I should say. as well. Make sure you spell it right. You've got to spell it right. You've got to. First, well, I don't know about first half, Master. I think the first part of it was quite exciting. Thanks to Steve, by the way, Steve Merrow Smith, and to Jono for subscribing. First part of the race was good because it's a bit of drama, wasn't there? But it did flatten out, and then we got the punctures and everything else, and then all that drama at the end there with penalties and can Zhou hang on. I tell you what, he did a really good job there. Actually, let's run through the order then, super quickly before I go and finish the stream ready for the reaction in about an hour and a half. So Max Verstappen has won the Qatar Grand Prix, 6 seconds clear of Charles Leclerc in the end, who was just 0.8 of a second ahead of Piastri over the line. That is the podium. The Constructors Championship fight goes down to Abu Dhabi. 21 points, I believe, between McLaren and Ferrari. The Ferrari fan in me is dreaming, and when the Ferrari fan dreams, it all falls apart. So I'm not expecting anything, but you never know what could happen. George Russell finished on the road in 4th place, then got a 5-second time penalty for a safety car infringement. If anyone could confirm, that should have been... He should have had enough, shouldn't he, back to Gasly, so that might be okay for P4 still. Pierre Gasly, 5th for Alpine, 2.6 seconds in the end behind Russell after I assume the penalty has been taken. 6th for Carlos Sainz and 7th for Fernando Alonso. Officially driver of the day, probably a lot of your driver of the day as well. Zhou Guanyu, 8th place for Sauber. Again, the pace has been there all weekend. It wasn't just 15 drivers finishing and a bit of chaos. He got the benefit of the safety car, but he's been pacey all weekend, as has Valtteri Bottas. Kevin Magnussen in 9th. Lando Norris got a 10-second stop-go penalty for failing to slow under yellow flags. That dropped him right to last, and he recovered to 10th place and took fastest lap for another critical point in that fight. Valtteri Bottas, 11th place for him. In the end, 14 seconds behind Norris. That's how quick Norris was in that final stint there. Lewis Hamilton ended up 12th somehow. 5.8 seconds behind Bottas and 4.9 clear of Tsunoda in 13th. Lawson was 1.5 behind his teammate in 14th, and Alex Albon in 15th place. The story of the day, though, apart from Zhou Guanyu, Verstappen winning, and what's going to happen with Ferrari and them in Abu Dhabi, really, it's a day of penalties. Lots of penalties were handed out in this one, but we'll get into those in the race reaction, I am sure. Yinka says Oscar doesn't look happy, doesn't look thrilled, does he? At all, does Oscar Piastri. So hopefully he'll cheer up when he realises he gets another trophy, his second one of the weekend. Yes, so we'll... I'm not really sure now what to say. I'm just trying to work out the George Russell thing. I'm just going to... this shouldn't affect you guys. It shouldn't. It doesn't mean it won't, but it shouldn't. I'm just going to go back if I can. If it'll let me, it won't let me. That's a shame. You can't do that live, can't you? That's annoying. Yeah, I can't. I assume that P4 is all right for Russell then. If someone could just confirm in chat. I think he was clear of Gasly over the line, wasn't he? More than 5 seconds. Because obviously, it's 2.6 back to Gasly. I would say 7.6 clear would have been about right from what I remember reading through earlier. So, yeah. Verstappen won Britops. He won the race from Leclerc and Piastri. So Russell was +7 at the line, so that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So that's with the time added. That's all right. I just wanted to double check before I open that up ready for the stream later, so at least we know. So pretty difficult day for some drivers out there. We had a couple of punctures, Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz as well. But yes, they're doing their interviews at the minute. But anyway, I'm not going to waffle too long. I will be back. Let's say it's nearly 5:45 here in the UK. So let's say I'll be back at about 7-ish, 7:30 at the latest. Just depends how long it takes me to get set up, and then we'll do the race reaction. So I am going to disappear now. Just a reminder, Max Verstappen has won the Qatar Grand Prix from Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri. Yes, I'm going to go. If you're not quick for the reaction, then thank you so much for joining me for all the other streams this weekend. It's been so much fun to enjoy these sessions with you. I've had a lot of fun. My voice is knackered, but it's been great. And I'm glad we got some drama in that race and some action as well to keep us all entertained. But I will be back in about an hour and a half or so, let's say. And I'll talk to you all in the reaction then with Stuart as well. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.